Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Pronounced? Okay. Hang on. Let me share my screen. Okay. Is my screen visual now? Is my screen shared or not? Give me some feedback.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Okay. ठीक है तो welcome friends to today's class and if you have any issues from the previous class or classes you can ask me. Everything is going fine, you are able to understand everything. We were discussing how to approach case studies, right? We had discussed in detail, in very depth, we had discussed how to approach ethical case studies. In general, are you having any issues?
सर गोटे जनरल डाउट थिला कि जो एरिस्टोटल को जो वर्च्यू एथिक्स थिला वर्च्यू मॉडल तो सेटा आउट थोड़ा टिके एक्सप्लेन कर दूं
Aristotle का virtue ethics. Okay.
यस
Very simple point. Aristotle said कि in general we should exercise virtue. Okay. And how will this virtue come from? This will come from a lot of practice. Through practice, the virtue should become a sort of habit. So when it becomes habit, from habit it will become a character, your character, right? So he was a very sort of practical person. He said ki all these moral grandstanding sort of things, these are useless. What people should do is they should actually practice virtue. So whatever you are preaching, for example, suppose what Plato for example said, right? We had discussed that there are 4 cardinal virtues of man, right? Prudence, justice, fortitude, temperance, right? Now you are saying that okay, these are all very good things and many people can also add a lot of other things, right? Aristotle himself had said ki eudaimonia. You are saying ki okay, this is our ultimate goal. But whatever virtues you are saying that humans should have, how are you going to ensure that we actually have this virtue? The point is, if we are not going to practice it, if we are not going to integrate it into our personality, which he called as character, right? Then there is no point of having this kind of virtue only in your mind. Because if it is only in your mind, then it is not being reflected in your behavior. So finally, it should be reflected in our behavior. So why should people be ethical? Because we should be ethical towards our behavior, should be ethical towards each other, so that there should be a conducive environment in which people can prosper. Right? If I steal, you steal, everyone is stealing, then that society, that civilization will not be able to develop itself. Right? We had also discussed one of the many evolutionary perspectives, one of the different reasons why people should be ethical. So we had discussed under that it is in our own interest to be ethical. So similarly, much before this sort of explanation came into became popular, Aristotle was saying we should display this kind of ethical behavior. Why? Because this will produce a good society in which there is a good environment that people can maximize their potential and you can live happily. Right? So for that you need to practice and create and develop it into your create habits which will develop into a character. Right? Very simply, virtue ethics. Okay. So in case studies, we are arguing that, for example, in many philosophical perspectives, when we are talking about philosophical arguments, one of the arguments would be, for example, virtue ethics. We are saying ki which kind of virtue this is championing, and accordingly we are saying that okay, so this according to virtue ethics we should be practicing these points, right? That is the argument. Any other questions?
सर आज जो केस स्टडी देइथिले ता देरे गोटे क्वेश्चन थिला ता देरे क्लियर कट स्टैंड नबा पई कहूची माने कोन तमर कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन रहइबो तो सेट सर
Right.
दीटा कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन को जणे दी ठीक भाबुची ताले कोउटा लेखिबो सेटा ठीक कह दे
Which question was this? Just remind me again. Which case study?
सर क्वेश्चन होची जो आराबळी रे सैंड ये
Right,
माइनिंग
right. Killing of SP. Right. So journalistic ethics या ऊपर थिला तो.
हां सर
Sir, how
Okay,
ଗୋଟେ
so what?
intro ଟା ଆମେ କେମିତି ଲେଖିବୁ?
Acha, by the way, I actually had written one framework तो कहबनी entire answer ही लिखी दी थी. I'll send that PDF to you. Okay? After class I'll send that PDF. So I have written I mean what came to my mind immediately. Okay, it's a both well documented and well researched something answer. No? Just to give you a framework I had written this, but initially I wanted all of you to attempt this, so if you have attempted then it is good. Okay, and afterwards I'll send you the uh, framework. Okay, I'll send you the answer. But to answer your question, what were the two, suppose let us see key what were the options available to this person. Now the first very simple options you can say ki initially one option was that he should keep quiet. The silence maintain kariyo se loko. That journalist, I think his name was Ashok, right? So if he is maintaining silence, what are the, you can simply divide this into pros and cons. Then you are saying second option is that if instead of maintaining silence, the person is going to the maybe media. Okay, so he is going to the media and he is openly disclosing all the information. Then what are the pros and cons? Okay, now there are 2 3 other options available with him that you can consider. For example, even without going to the media, person would first go to the police and submit the report. Remember, this person has developed a detailed investigation report, so why not give it to the police? Now you are not directly going to the media, because if you are going to the media then the spotlight would be on you and maybe there would be a threat to your life. So give the report to the police, and in general also the policeman has been killed, SP has been killed, so we can guess that there will be police sympathy towards you also if you are submitting any such evidence, because a person from their ranks has been killed, right? Now there is another option. Again, you can divide this into pros and cons. You can consider ki what will be the pros and cons in this. Here also cons would be okay. Okay, still there would be some kind of threat to his or her life, and the solution to this is also, there is another solution to this. You can legally ask for police protection. No, legally ask for police protection, citing the threat to your life. That these are the reasons. These are the mafia and all. So there is a legitimate threat to me and my family. So why don't you provide me protection? So they will also provide you protection. Okay. Similarly, there is another option that many people would not think of it. Now consider, we can also say ki what Ashok should do ki Ashok can also start his own social media investigative channel, right? For example, think of many YouTubers now. So suppose he or she can, he can start his own YouTube channel. And here what this will do ki, this will create a backup plan. Backup plan in the sense ki suppose after disclosing all the information related to this crime, so we can reasonably expect, because the TV channel where he was working, the CMD also threatened. Also, he said ki please don't make this information public because the local MLA is a stakeholder in our channel, right? So we can expect that after that, if Ashok is going ahead with his plan, we can reasonably expect that he will get fired from his job. So before that, if he is creating YouTube channel, maybe you can even monetize this. You can have some sort of backup plan. He can have a job, or at least he can have a platform in which he can voice his side of the story. Right? So this can also be one option. So these are many options that you can have, and finally you can say, I think between these two, you can choose any of this. Okay. If you are very much worried about your regarding the the health of his child, remember it was also mentioned he had taken a loan, soft loan of 10 lakh or something from the owners of the channel, and they were saying if you keep quiet then we'll allow you to will suitably adjust it, right? So now we can similarly we can argue that let him take some insurance. You can even mention, in short, you can mention about PM uh, Jan Arogya Yojana, what is there, forgot Pamjaya, or Ayushman Bharat, right? You can even write about Biju Swasthya Kalyan Yojana if Ashok is in Odisha. And simply mention that there are a number of insurance schemes, so he or she should take this sort of insurance, right? Why depend on, why take loan from someone else for the medical treatment of your family member? In general, also it is not a wise thing, right? Because it will put you under obligation of someone else. Rather take insurance. Any other doubt? Okay, someone was asking how we should introduce it, right? How we are going to introduce. See, Introduction, I believe in case studies, you don't have to write a very specific introduction. Just write a very generic one-liner. In general, your body part should be specific. Okay. But introduction part, you can write a generic line. For example, here you can write key. This is the above case study shows an ethical dilemma concerning journalistic ethics, or an ethical dilemma between professional ethics and personal benefits or personal concerns. It doesn't matter, just a single generic line. And again, you don't have to write a lot of stakeholder approach. କିଛି ଲେଖିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ, ଯଦି ସେଇ ୱେରେ ତମେ ଡିଭାଇଡ କରନା ଆନ୍ସର କୁ ତାହେଲେ ଲେଖିବା ଦରକାର ହିଁ ନାହିଁ. Okay. Yes, anyone else?
Sir, there is any relationship between virtue and attitude?
Virtue and attitude.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can make some connection in general that if you have appropriate attitude, then it is also a sort of virtue. Having an appropriate attitude is a sort of virtue. Suppose you will say in general, what is your attitude overall? One will say we have a winner kind of attitude. Another has a defeatistic attitude. Then which one is better? Obviously, this one is better. Again, consider this thing: attitude for a civil servant. In general, attitude for a civil servant, one person is introvert, one person is extrovert. We had also discussed. In general, extrovert should be preferred over introvert. Although ambivert person is also fine, but person should not be extremely introvert, because you are supposed to work with the people. Right? So here also attitude is also, we are saying okay, this kind of attitude is also better than the other kind. Any other queries? No. ठीक है, then hang on a second. I think this one. So let's move to today's case study. Okay.
Hello.
I hope you. Sorry. Hello. Someone was asking something. Please mute your audio. Mute कर दियो audio. कार audio on है. Audio कार on है. Prafulla, Samruddhi, please mute your audio. Okay. ठीक है. Attitude for a civil servant. Okay. Let's move. Go to this part of today's case study. So I hope that you have gone through this case study. It's saying that there was a landslide which occurred in the middle of the night on blah blah. All of these are not important. Point is key. You are the district magistrate, and you have gone to that place with many support staff, NGOs, doctors, NGOs, media, police. Okay, everyone is there, and there is a man who came to you. His pregnant wife is losing blood, right? And they are saying they tell you that she needs blood transfusion immediately. Now you know that there are few blood collection bags and blood group test kits are also there. So you can also test the blood groups. Okay, and you also have doctors in your team, right? And there are many people in your team who have volunteered to donate blood. So there is for blood donation also there are volunteers. Now you yourself are a physician who has graduated from AIMS, means you have a medical background, right? And you know that blood for transfusion needs to be procured only through a recognized blood bank, because otherwise there will be a risk of infectious diseases. Now your team members are divided on this issue. Some people say we should have transfusion, others are opposing it. Okay. Now the doctors in the team are also ready to facilitate it, but provided they are not penalized for the transfusion. They are saying कि बिल्कुल risk नहीं लेने का. We will, sir, whatever you tell us we will do, but it should not come at the cost of our own career or need. That is what they are saying. So what are you going to do here? Now you tell me first, how are we going to introduce it? Introduction, very simple one-liner introduction. Ki something this case study pertains to an ethical dilemma related to medical ethics. Very simple. Okay. Don't have to explain too much because the body part will explain all of the things. Now come straight forward to the point A, bit A. Now what are the ethical issues involved? Tell me what are the ethical issues?
Sorry, human sanctity versus following procedures.
Very good. So first we will say ki first is sanctity of life, right? Sanctity of life, that is saving a life, versus following procedures. So following procedures is nothing but procedural ethics, right? Okay. Procedural ethics. Right? You can explain in a single line what this means, sanctity of life and following procedures. So from this again we can derive what is the difference between niti versus nyaya. We are saying where now. Can you tell me what will be niti here, what will be nyaya here? This is Amartya Sen's idea, right?
Sir, Nya is blood transfusion. Niti is collecting from a reliable source.
Right, saving life. That means saving life. This will provide justice to the family. For example, justice to her family. Right, the man who has come here, so he will be provided justice if his wife lives. Niti here means what? Rules and protocols. Right. So what is the protocol here? Protocol to follow proper blood screening procedure. So proper blood screening procedure includes the procedure to test the blood and to take it from a recognized blood bank, right? We will only take it from recognized blood bank only after a lot of screening. This is the issue. What else could be the issue? Ethical issues involved.
Sir, crisis of conscience.
Very good. Regarding what?
Sir, doctor की blood transfusion करिबो ना करिबोनी.
Okay. Crisis of conscience.
सर सेटा आइदर वेलफेयर दबो और रूल को फॉलो करिवो माने मींस
Very good.
मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन एंड सेटा.
Okay. Means versus ends. Eta kocha. Means versus end.
यस सर.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So crisis of conscience here would be that whether we should, again similar point, whether we should save the life or follow the rules and regulations. Similar point again, means versus end is also same point. किसी नहीं same point को भी you can expand. देखो different terminology देखिए expand कर दो just to show कि हम पाखरे एतिक सारा content अच्छी. Okay, so it's not an issue. ମୁଁ କହିଥିଲି ବେଳେ ବେଳେ कि हमको gimmick ବେଳେ ବେଳେ आपको show gimmick right, value addition without value addition, so it's fine. Okay.
क्राइसिस ऑफ कॉन्शियंस रो भी
Mhm.
सर क्राइसिस ऑफ कॉन्शियंस रो भी दीटा ऑप्शन भी परिबो कि ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन रे किछ जदी प्रॉब्लमेटिक बाहरला देन लाइफ लॉन्ग माने
Yes, excellent. Yes, suppose blood transfusion हमें करी दूचे. Okay. So if there is any issue in this, suppose there is any bacteria, virus. Okay. For example, suppose even it can have HIV virus, it can have some mumps virus,
हेपेटाइटिस
it can have COVID, yes, hepatitis. Okay. So we don't know. But the point is, see, even it is being said कि you have blood group test kit, right? But point is कि even after this is not the only thing which is being done in the recognized blood bank. In the blood bank, actually, whatever blood is being submitted to the blood bank, that same sample is not immediately given to the patients. I hope you know this. They usually keep it preserved for some time. They run a lot of tests, they screen it, and only after that they provide it the blood to someone else. So if you are doing blood group test kit, मैंने से testing करके तापरे immediately supply कर दो, then also there could be some issue because you cannot be 100% sure, right? So in that also there is a crisis of conscience कि whether we should take whether we should allow blood transfusion even if we are having blood group test kit with ourselves even after testing everything, because in a very short time period you cannot be 100% sure कि this will be safe. But now consider another crisis. Suppose we are saying okay, even this is fine. Now maybe the person will say कि even if this is happening, this is better than saving a life and living. For example, you are saying कि you have to live with a disease, right? So even living with a disease is better than not living, right? So maybe the person would be grateful कि चलो हम hepatitis ହେଇଗଲା still I'm at least alive. Although we are not saying कि କିଛି ଗୋଟେ severe ଜିନିଷ ହେଇଗଲା ତ ତାହେଲେ maybe life would also be worse. But point is, do we know कि which part is better, whether you are able to live with a disease or whether you are just dying? In general, we can make a sort of thumb rule that overall if the person is dying, then every hope is lost, because at least if you are alive, then we can hope that some miracle cure can also come in the future, right? So we can hope that. But if the person is no more, then what can we do? Nothing can be done, right? But in any case, there would be certainly, this would be a crisis of conscience. Okay. Now another point, think of this, ki the person himself or herself, now you are not only DM, it is also provided that you are also AIMS pass out, right? So you are a physician also. Now remember, as a physician, you are also, you have ascribed to something which is known as Hippocratic oath. Can anyone tell me what is Hippocratic oath?
So it is the oath they take regarding their practice, medical practice.
Yes, it is the promise to all the patients to help the sick person, right?
Sir, in an ethical manner.
Yes, and never cause harm. Okay. For example, doctors can never provide you the wrong medicine knowingly. Okay, this is the Hippocratic oath, and they can also never say no to a patient in need, right? So they can never say no. At least this is what they are supposed to do. Right? Whether all are following it or not, that is a different thing. But since we are discussing this in ethics class, so that means the DM also has taken Hippocratic oath in his past. So that means there is a moral obligation on this person to actually help the woman in need. So this is also an issue or not? Do you have a moral obligation? So even if it is by breaking the rules, so then also you are supposed to help or save the person, right?
Sir, Hippocratic oath ର ଗୋଟେ principle ଅଛି justice, ଯୋଉଟା କି ସେ DM ସେଇ time ରେ ଦେଇପାରିବେ, rather following the rule.
Right. Is this Alisa, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, I guess because of your profession also. So yes, fine. You can also, yes, say that he can break the rule also. No? Point is, see, try to understand this. What is the entire purpose of rules, regulation, protocols, laws, rites and rituals, practices, customs? What is the entire purpose? You try to understand. Are these arbitrary things? What is the ultimate purpose of all these things? The ultimate purpose is human well-being. आमे कहीं के ट्रैफिक रूल भी भाव गोटे छोट रूल आमे ट्रैफिक रूल कहीं की रख ट्रैफिक रूल एथमे रखा है बिकॉज़ ट्रैफिक रूल जदि आमे न रखिबो लोक माने बाडी की मरि जिवे, राइट? वैसे बहुत सारे एक्सीडेंट हो. So we have to understand कि if you are blindly following some rule, then there is no point of it, because our ultimate purpose is human well-being. जदि याको blindly follow करिया द्वारा human well-being गोटे specific case रे हो नाही, that means सेही case रे आमे एटा follow करिया कथा न. As simple as that. If by following any protocol, instead of saving life, it is resulting in the death of the person, then what is the point of following that protocol? You tell. So here you can also quote, this is what principle of natural justice, right? Principle of natural justice should be the ultimate principle. Now, if you see the entire constitution, entire parliamentary law, all of these are also based on this. But many times when the rules become rigid, it could happen that you are violating principle of natural justice or PNJ. Then we'll say in that case, we should not, in that case only, we should not follow this kind of rigid rule. There is no need to be very rigid about it. Okay. So this is also one ethical dilemma that we can mention.
Sir,
now,
ହଁ
yes, go on.
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ବି ହେଇପାରିବ, ଯଦି ସେ ବ୍ଲଡ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସଫ୍ୟୁଜନ ପାଇଁ ଆଲାଉ କରିଦେଲେ ବି ତାପରେ ଯୋଉ ଟିମ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କ ଉପରେ କିଛି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବିଲିଟି ଯିବନି, ତ ଇନ କେସ୍ ଯଦି ନେଗେଟିଭ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ଆସିଲା ତେବେ ସେ ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବିଲିଟି ବି ଡିଏମ୍ କୁ ହିଁ ନବା ପାଇଁ ପଡିବ, ସେଟା ବି ଗୋଟେ
Yes,
ରହିବ.
actually if you understand why it is being said कि कहीं की केस स्टडी रे दिया हैतला ना, केस स्टडी पढी के जिंस पेरिफेरल जिंस को भी माइंड रखियो. Why did they mention this part specifically, that the DM has graduated from AIMS? They specifically said he is a physician, so that they are giving you an opportunity to actually show leadership skills. So now the DM should show leadership skills in the sense चलो एटा तो हम solution part रे लिखिया एटा ethical issues रे आसीबनी solution part रे हम लिखिया. Now the DM will say कि being not only an IS officer or PCS officer, the DM is also a physician. Okay. Even though not a practicing physician, but still he is a physician. So now he will say कि now I'm going to take the leadership and I will take the responsibility, and he should assure his team that I am taking responsibility. If something wrong happens, then I am legally also liable for that. But we should go ahead and we should try to save the person. Now this should not be done legal responsibility blindly nowhere. For example, you can say कि okay, he is taking responsibility, but he would also try to document the decision making procedure. Okay. For example, documenting decision making procedure माने कौन? आमे कहया कि suppose DM said कि let's try to save the person even without following the protocol. And then he would say कि let's try to माने videograph this. So we are just videographing कि this is the case and we all are here. This is my team of doctors, and together we have taken this decision, or I personally I also have taken this decision because these were our constraints कि आम पाखरे blood bank को एबे जीवा को time नहीं. So this is our constraint, that is why I have decided, and if anything happens then we will see. କଥା ହେଉଛି ଯଦି ତମ ପାଖରେ ଡକୁମେଣ୍ଟେସନ କିଛି ଥିବ, ଯଦି ଫ୍ୟୁଚରରେ କିଛି ଲିଟିଗେସନ କିଛି କେସ୍ ଆସିଲା ହେଇପାରେ, ଦେଖ ଏଗେନ୍ ସପୋଜ ସେଇ ୱାଇଫ ର ତାର ଲାଇଫ ବଞ୍ଚିଗଲା, ଠିକ ଅଛି, ବଟ୍ ୱାଇଫ କୁ ସପୋଜ କଣ ହେଇଗଲା, କୋଭିଡ ହେଇଗଲା, ଅର ମାନେ ସମଥିଙ୍ଗ ଏଲ୍ସ ହ୍ୟାପେଣ୍ଡ, ରାଇଟ୍, ହେଇପାରେ ସେମ୍ ହଜବେଣ୍ଡ ୱିଲ୍ file a case on, right? Now you will show this video to the court and say ki, sir, based on limited resources I had taken this decision. Now yes, remember, you can also mention another point. You can also write medical triage. What is the meaning of medical triage? Medical triage, I had also told you this thing earlier. Medical triage is the sort of order of preference in treating patients with limited resources and or manpower. So I'm just making decisions on the spot. Okay, I don't know exact definition. I'm making definition on the spot here. So because I understand what is the essence. The medical triage I agro katha bhi hitlu. I had asked you one ethical dilemma. Suppose there is a one doctor, okay, and he or she has only enough time to either save one patient, patient one, or patient two. This patient one has suppose 30% chance of survival. So this is also a subjective assessment of the doctor. This patient has 50% chance of survival. So who should he attend to? We had discussed he should attend to which patient? Can you tell me?
50%.
The 50%.
Very good. 50%, right? Whoever has the higher chance of survival. Okay. So I mean, by layman logic, it might seem to you that he should help the 30% person, but no, 50% chance jahar achi taku help kare use first try kare. So here also, are we not facing a medical triage? We are facing a dilemma in which we have limited resource, in the sense we have limited time. Time is also a resource here. Now we don't have the luxury of time to go to the blood bank and collect that specific blood group which is appropriate for the woman, and we are going to transfuse that. We don't have the time. Right now we only have time to do this some kind of blood test, माने only blood group testing करके जहार match करतो आम भितरु आम जो blood volunteer blood donation by volunteer अच्छी तांकटू नहीं के हम दे पारे. So this is also a time crunch. This is also sort of medical trial. Here also, what should the person do? जो would be higher chances of survival अच्छी, so the individual would take that kind of decision. Now going to the blood bank, this will take time. So now as you will lose the golden hours, right? Golden hours of survival को हम lose कर दो, so the chances of survival would reduce. So here you are still in the golden hour, chance of survival is high. So he should try to save the life now, even at the risk of maybe transmitting some kind of disease or something. Okay. So issue of medical triage also you can write. This is also an ethical issue. Are you able to understand this point or किसी doubt है point? By the way, आमर तो answer almost हो गला. Now second part रे जो question अच्छी bit अच्छी, evaluate the options available to you being the district magistrate of the area. Now you can, from this also you can write ki what are the options available or evaluation of options available to me as DM. So you can write some silly options, wait for blood bank or something, or so chalo, whatever option we are selecting. Suppose we are saying no, we'll search for a blood bank, recognized blood bank. We'll send someone and we will screen the blood and everything. So this is option one. So here you will evaluate. For example, you will say what are the pros and cons. Con would you, of course, you are losing time. So losing time means chances of survival are going down. Right. What will be the pros? Pros will be it is a safe procedure, right? So no disease kichi hoba nahi. So this is what you are saying. Okay. So you are also saying that this is according to as per the medical protocol. This is also something we discussed. This is known as procedural ethics, right? Procedural ethics. Then pros would also be that no adverse potential legal trouble, right? Future in the trouble hoba nahi. Now here again you can write the Hippocratic oath to at a violate course. चलो Hippocratic oath को violate न कर भी you are not exactly adhering to the Hippocratic oath because you are saying no to help someone immediately, right? So the patient is demanding कि she should be taken care of, but you are saying no. Similarly, you will also say कि okay, one two other points you can think of it. Now what is the second option available? You can similarly evaluate it. For example, immediate blood transfusion हमें करिया after testing, that is blood group test kit. So यार भी pros and cons रहेगा. यार pros रे हमें लिखा है कि saving of life. Cons रे हमें कौन लिखा कि कौन सा वाला कि disease ये सब जिनसे कुछ ही पारे. So it is a bit risky procedure. So similarly, you can write pros रे, you can write again Hippocratic oath is being maintained, blah blah. Then your leadership skill is being shown. Okay. And so you are leading from the front. All of these things. Now cons रे will say कि it will set a bad precedent. Now future रे कौन होगा? So that means it is a sort of moral hazard also. In future also in many such cases in which there is no such hurry, still people will take similar kind of decision because they will say that DM had done the same thing, so we are also doing similar thing. So what's the point? Okay, what's the issue? So this will also again lead to a lot of diseases transmitting through this kind of blood. Okay. So finally you will write.
Sir, it hame add kari pariba je immediate blood transfusion kariba, but with the consent of her husband.
Yeah, sure. Definitely you can write a very good point. You can write. See, third point. By the way, I was going to say ki now you will say ki what are my options, or my options or my suggestions. The best course of action here you can say. Here you can even draw a flowchart. You can write ki what we are going to do. For example, first you will say ki initially we will start blood group testing. At one side I am start kar do testing of volunteers. On the other hand, we will document karya start kar do on decision making that we decided. So this should be again to be very sure you can even say this is a consensus oriented approach. We are saying ki we all agreed ki this is for the greater good. Then on the other hand, you will take written permission. Sang got a paper likhe na permission of the husband or tar family member. So this will work as an informed consent of immediate family member, right? So this will prevent you from being targeted in the future. So litigation future hoba nahi. And only after this, so by the time this testing is done, so we have selected the volunteers. Then we will proceed with. So our doctors will help us in blood transfusion, right? We'll say that this is our final course of action, right? This can be this would be our solution. And in the end, you can write that what a feel good factor overall got a likhita India conclusion key. So the DM should also show good leadership skill. माने leadership सांगरे हमें हमदी life को save करिया. plus life saving hobo. So this will also set a good precedent, right? Something like that. This can be a conclusion. Or you can also mention again Hippocratic oath, so whatever. Okay. But a single line, one line will make it. I hope this is clear, right? ଏବେ ଦେଖ ଏଥିରେ ଆମେ କିଛି ଷ୍ଟେକ୍ ହୋଲ୍ଡର ନେଇକି କାହାକୁ ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କଲୁ କି if possible suppose here if you are going to ମାନେ ୟାକୁ ଯଦି ତମେ କରିଥାନ୍ତ ଷ୍ଟେକ୍ ହୋଲ୍ଡର approach ରେ for example you could have taken the husband, you could have taken the volunteers, you could have taken the doctors. In this way if you are structuring your answer, ତମର answer ର structuring ହିଁ ଯଦି ଏଇ way ରେ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା ତାହେଲେ initially you could have shown the stakeholders. Okay. But here since we did not take the stakeholder approach, in general we took suggestions where different options କଣ ଅଛି ତା through ରେ ଆମେ divide କଲୁ. So then we don't need to write initially stakeholder approach. Okay. So now come to this part. This is also a very nice case study. And these are
Sir?
kind of yes.
सर गोटे जनरल डाउट था माने ये जो केस स्टडीटा केस स्टडीज आम कले तो से माने डिस्कशन रे तो आई कंप्लीटली एग्री बट डिस्कशन पूर्व मु जहाँ ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करथले तो मोर जहाँ एमती भाबुतले माने जहाँ सॉल्यूशन हे परियो बोली तो दैट इज वे ऑफ तो जदि एग्जाम रे भी सेमती किछि माने पूरा कंप्लीटली माने बहुत डिफरेंस रह गला माने आंसर
You tell me
आंसर
how what were you thinking? Maybe then we can discuss. What were you thinking? How was
तो
it?
मु जानती जे माने हिपोक्रेटिक ओथ रे से जस्टिस देबार अछि बोली तो मु जस्ट एमती भाबितली कि माने एई माने जो लोकेशन रे जो साइट टू जो जे पेशेंट अछि तो ताकू गोटे गाड़ी माने व्हीकल रे माने पठाई जो सेपटे माने ऑलरेडी कॉल कर देते ब्लड बैंक रु के जने माने माने से ब्लड नहीं के आसे तो मिडिल रे माने समहाउ से पहुंची के ट्रांस माने ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन करिब
Yes, it can certainly be one option. See, very good. You can do that also. See, आमे ब्लड बैंक रे हम ब्लड बैंक को फोन करी कहि दबु कि एई ब्लड ग्रुप रो आमे कोन करियो से वुमेन आमे वॉलंटियर को ब्लड ग्रुप टेस्ट करे संगे वुमेन रो भी ब्लड ग्रुप टेस्ट करथुलु. So now say वुमेन रो ब्लड ग्रुप टेस्ट करके suppose we found out whatever it is, वॉलंटियर मान कर टेस्ट करिया दरकार नहीं.
यस
ब्लड बैंक को फोन करी कहि दबु कि से suppose O पॉजिटिव से कि O पॉजिटिव गोटा आना जो. So in the middle ground, we can arrange any suppose school, hospital, whatever is there. So we'll Google it, we'll see, or otherwise we'll call it. We know ki the local geography will know ki there is a public space here. So we will also go. Our team of doctor will go with the woman, and here also we can arrange this kind of transfusion. Right. So it can also happen. But again, this thing also seems to me it will still take a bit more time than if you are doing the transfusion right at the place itself. Right. So again, you have to consider pros and cons. Both pros and cons will be here. Golden hours, whether you are missing the golden hours or not. So that is again debatable, but certainly this can also be a good solution. This is not a way of solution. Why do you think this is a way of? This is a good solution. Okay. You are again taking a middle ground approach, middle path you are taking, right? It's a very good thinking. You can write it certainly. This is not a radical solution or anything. You can take this ground also. So सेठी हिपोक्रेटिक ओथ को बेसी फोकस करिवनी अदरवाइज एई वाला आंसर तुम यदि स्टार्टिंग रे बहुत लिखि दिते हिपोक्रेटिक ओथ देन द एग्जामिनर विल से कि
मुझे
अच्छा तुम
जाना ही
एत थरा
नतला माने हिपोक्रेटिक ओथ कौन जानथिली बट तार कंटेंट को
ओके
नथली
ठीक अछि सो बट यू अंडरस्टैंड ना तुम स्टार्टिंग रे बहुत सारा हिपोक्रेटिक ओथ लिखछ बट फाइनली यू आर नॉट फॉलोइंग
यस
इट
यस
देन देयर विल बी नेगेटिव इंप्रेशन ठीक अछि यस इट कैन डेफिनेटली बी ए सॉल्यूशन ओके इट्स अ गुड सॉल्यूशन so ei bhaliya hi mane bujhi parcho ethical dilemma itself is testing a lot of your skills personality or aspect ko bhi test karuchi which we had discussed earlier in the previous class that if you even go through UPSC syllabus you will see what are the characteristics they are looking for in a potential civil servant. And here also you see leadership skills, the skill to think, problem solving skill. We have discussed one characteristic, problem solving skill. Complicated situations, how out of this you are able to find a good solution, right? And your leadership as well as how your emotional intelligence also, how you are going to motivate people. See, if you are not able to assure your team that you are going to take responsibility, why will your team take responsibility? We had discussed yesterday, we were discussing a similar kind of ethical dilemma. I was telling you, na, suppose you are the DM and there is a riot. Okay, you have one employee one who is physically strong but mentally weak. Another employee two who is physically weak but mentally strong. So we were asking, who are you going to send? The answer is neither of this. You are going to go there first. So this is leadership. You are going to lead by example. So if you are not going to take responsibility first, then who is going to take blood transfusion? कोई करेगा ही नहीं ना. People will say कि यार DM is not taking responsibility. Who are we to take responsibility, right? So you see, all of the virtues that they are looking for in general in a civil servant, that should reflect in your writing also. Okay. Okay. So now come to this question. Very nice case study. What happened was that Rashika, the joint secretary, was working. Husband Vikram leave it. Husband is not necessary here. 2 children. Okay, children are there, age 5 and 3. So they are being looked after. Their domestic helper. So at 9:30 p.m., her superior, Mr. Suresh, calls her and says, "You need a detailed note on an important matter. Okay, to be discussed in the meeting in the ministry." And now she realizes that she will have to work on Sunday to finish the additional task given by her superior. Now she reflects how she had looked forward to this posting, blah blah. She had worked long hours, means she is a deserving person. This is a hardworking officer. That is what is being said. Now she is realizing that she has not done enough justice to her family, and she has not fulfilled her duties in discharging social obligations. So even last month she had to leave her sick child in the nanny's care because she had to work. So now she feels that she must draw a line beyond which her personal life should take precedence over her professional responsibilities. Here itself, you are given an introduction into hymnology, which was that. So now she now thinks that there should be reasonable limits to the work ethics, such as punctuality, hard work, dedication to duty, and selfless service. These are the key words they themselves have given to you. Now the question is, discuss the ethical issues involved in this case and describe at least 4 laws that have been enacted. Imagine you are in a similar situation. What suggestion you would make to mitigate such working conditions? Okay. So how can we start with introduction of Kimtiya Korea? Tell me now. We'll say ki the above case study
The personal
shows.
ethics is professional ethics.
Okay, very good. We'll say ki this is an ethical dilemma between or regarding personal ethics and professional ethics. Okay. Or also you can alternatively write.
Work-life
You can,
balance.
very good. Work-life balance, maintaining work-life balance. Either of this you can write. You can also write ki in general work ethics and personal life. Any of this. In general, also similar points we are going to write in this bit. Okay. So come to this part. Ethical issues involved. What are the ethical issues involved?
Professional duty versus personal life.
যদি সেটা লিখো তাহলে initially তাহলে এটা লিখো না. So you can write simple. This part you can introduce. Okay, work life. So this is an ethical issue dilemma related to work life balance. So then you can write the first ethical issue involved is professional duty versus personal life. So here you can explain what is the professional duty which the person is legally and also morally obliged to do as part of being a professional. Personal life is ତାଙ୍କର କିଛି ନିଜ personal life ବି ଅଛି, so they have she has some personal boundaries also. So this should be there. What is the other issue?
Sir, dual burden लिखियो कि इतरे.
Dual burden, yes, you can write dual burden, but how
Sir,
should
all
we
the
write
like
this as a dilemma?
Sir, से जो
Yes.
छोटू जरा
sir, all
अटेंड कर पालेनी.
हाँ, dual burden can be there, but dual burden is not an ethical issue na, for the woman at least.
The
It is a
crisis of
burden.
conscience.
Okay, crisis of conscience, very good. Crisis of conscience. Okay, this is an excellent part. Crisis of conscience of Rashika, because what at one end she wants to perform ମାନେ professional ତାଙ୍କର obligation କିଛି ଅଛି and home duties ବି କିଛି ଅଛି or household duties କିଛି ଅଛି towards her children specifically, right? So they also deserve her time. Here you have professional duty, right? Or a target or goal, whatever it is. Okay? So this will create a crisis of conscience, right? Chalo, work-life balance also, sorry, you can write ki dual burden, we can write, right? Dual burden on working women. एमितिया करिकि भी तुम देखि परियो कि गोटा हला work responsibilities, second is household responsibilities, right? What else is there?
सर ଆଉ
Sir,
ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ତାର ସରି
हाँ yes,
सर
go
ଆଉ
on.
ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ ତାକୁ କେମିତି categorize କରିପାରୁନି ବଟ୍ ଏମିତି କି ଏମିତି କହିପାରିବି କି ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ ଦ ନେଚର ଅଫ ଦ ଜବ୍ ମାନେ ସେ ଆଗୁଆ ବି ଜାଣିଥିଲେ କି ଦିସ୍ ମାନେ ସି ହାର୍ଡ ଟୁ ୱାର୍କ ହାର୍ଡ ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ ନଟ୍ ସଡନ୍ ରିଅଲାଇଜେସନ କି ମାନେ ମତେ ଓଭର ଟାଇମ୍ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ କି କିଛି କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ବଟ୍ ନାଓ ଲାଇକ୍ ମାନେ ସେ ମାନେ ତ କଣ କହନ୍ତି ସେ ଦି ଆଡୁ ମାନେ ଫାଇଦା ନେବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି ସି ୱାଣ୍ଟସ୍ ଟୁ ବି ଇନ୍ ପାୱାର ବଟ୍ ଆଟ୍ ଦ ସେମ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ସି ଅଲସୋ ଟୁ ୱାର୍କ
You are going towards a negative connotation. Somehow I feel you are not very sympathetic to Rashika. I think our sympathy should lie more with Rashika than with her superiors. From this case study, at least it is clear. Now, when we are going to reason a bit, then you will again realize. Now you tell me whether the demands of her superiors were reasonable or not. I want to hear from the girls, especially working women. I want to ask you guys, what do you think? Any working woman here? You think whether the demands of her superiors were reasonable?
सर जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी लेवल रे मीटिंग अछि माने निहाती इंपोर्टेंट मीटिंग तो थिबो ता सहित
Mhm.
हस्बैंड एमएनसी रे अछंती से पे तांको पूरा आगे छाड़ दिया होची नै तांकर भी रेस्पोंसिबिलिटी अछि इट जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी आस जाउची तो हस्बैंड कर भी
Right?
सेते किया दरकार रेस्पोंसिबिलिटी फैमिली प्रति दर ये भी ओवर टाइम करि परबे एज हस्बैंड डज
Very good. Okay, let's discuss about that also. For example, nanny also. Okay. So let's call it child rearing responsibilities. Now, if you are talking about family members, of course, the role of husband should be there. Now you are saying that the husband is out in MNC. So that means maybe the husband is out of station or something. Now, point is, why did the husband take such kind of decision, career decision, when he knew that she also has a lot of responsibility? Maybe you can also criticize this. But okay, suppose for some reason husband is not available, not in the country. Okay. If the husband is available, we should say ki, chalo, he should also take care of the children also. Other members, nanny, other extended nanny is not a family member, but we can assume that she has a responsibility, maybe even legal responsibility because she is getting paid. But other family members should also be there who can take care of the family. So this part is being understood. But let me ask you another simple question: whether her superiors, were being reasonable or unreasonable? Now, when the question comes that joint secretary is demanding an important matter, all of these are okay, all of these are understandable. Suppose important matter is कि somewhere something has happened, we have to take a decision immediately. Now we consider this from multiple perspectives. Suppose we are assuming here that joint secretary is a male member. We can assume that suppose we are saying कि how is joint secretary, by the way, finding time to do all of this? Does the joint secretary not have any family issues of his own? Now we can assume maybe joint secretary's wife is taking most of the household responsibility. That is why joint secretary is now free. He is now saying कि now this is a very important matter. Point is, joint secretary should also understand, should have the emotional intelligence to understand that maybe the kind of responsibility that he has, this other person, Rashika, she has much more responsibility because she also has to take care of her family. Now he should have been more empathetic to the condition of Rashika. But let us say for some reason he was not empathetic. Now you are saying it is an important matter. Question is, even if it is an important matter, is it necessary that you are giving this work only to that one person who is Rashika? Do you not have other members in your team who can maybe fill in for some time? And if you do not have, that means your human resource management skills are poor. Did you not envision a future in which you would be very much dependable on a single person, and if God forbid something happens to that single person, if Rashika is somehow unoccupied, now imagine if Rashika had an accident. Now you will should the joint secretary say कि now चलो important matter को हमें टाल दो, important matter को हमें postpone करे दो. Now whose responsibility should have been this in this case? It should have been joint secretary's responsibility. That means his lack of vision led to a situation in which Rashika maybe was the only person who could have done this kind of thing. So that should not have happened in the first place. Na? If you are doing this, that means your human resource management skills are poor. For example, suppose you are, and these are the things you are going to face. Suppose as a part of state civil service officer, you are posted as maybe Tahsildar, additional Tahsildar, deputy collector, BDO, whatever you are. Suppose you have to arrange an event, right? You are giving responsibility to n number of people. You have to understand that if you have given some important responsibility to person one, you have to ensure that there should also be a person two as a backup. If suppose some unimportant task you can give to a single person, that is fine, but you should have a backup for some important things. Otherwise, if this person will say, I'm unable to do it, your entire event will be ruined. So did you not see this kind of future? Did you not imagine that this could happen? This is also your fault or not? I somehow, my personal opinion is that this is superior should also take some blame. Important matter means what? Did you not know that important matters will keep on coming frequently? So why did you not envision that? And you already see here also you have given you have been told that she had worked earlier also. She had worked long hours for months to achieve this posting, and so she has a good track record, right? And it was also said that that last week she was doing something, you know, finish the task. I don't remember. Somewhere it was mentioned that. So in any case, so you know that this person is hardworking person. So just because you know this person is hardworking, you are giving her more and more works. My point is, in one point also we can criticize the superiors. We can say that superior should not have given her this much of work specifically at a time without understanding her responsibilities also, right? Now after that also another point, like someone said, because it is an important matter. Yeah, sure. If it is an important matter, then again this would lead to a crisis of conscience. Suppose this is related to some public service. Now there is a crisis of conscience whether you would lead to you are going to do public service or you are going to take care of your children. Again, remember these children are very young, 3 and 5 years old. So that means they need constant guidance, they need constant taking care of. So this will also be a crisis of conscience, right? Any other ethical issues? Well, I think this much is enough. You can write n number of issues, but I think this much is enough. Now the second bit of the question is a bit more technical. Now personally, I don't think that similar kind of bits you will find in most of the questions. Maybe one or two questions you will find which will be sort of very difficult question. They have said to briefly describe at least 4 laws that have been enacted by the government with respect to providing healthy, safe and equitable working condition for women. So now let us say ki, what are the 4 laws, or let us say ki, what are the laws for safety and good working condition of women, right? Now if you can't remember all of the points, then also it is fine, write at least 2 laws, but you should not leave it completely blank, right? For example, first you can write Maternity Benefit Act. Okay. In fact, this was amended in 2017, I think 2017. Recently, it was amended, and it was said that your maternity benefit period, this was enhanced to how many weeks? 26 weeks.
26.
And it also provides for paid paid leave
Paid
to
leave ରହିବ।
women, right? And it will also provide creche facility. Creche facility means, who can explain what is creche facility?
सर वर्क माने वर्क प्लेस को तांको पिला मान गाणी परिवे सेठी समान
Yes.
टेक केयर करबे।
So there would be a place in which you can put your baby for some time and you can work, right? So that is a creche facility. So according to this means कि देखो completely related age जिनसा ना होले you can write whatever whichever law is there for good working condition of women you can write. Now there is a fundamental right. Sorry, there is a article 42 माने टा कौन DPSP हो directive principle what is? What is article 42? Can any of you remember? It says that states shall provide for just and human conditions of work and maternity relief. Now someone will say कि article 42 is a constitutional provision, so that is not what the question asked. Question was saying what government has briefly discussed 4 laws that has been enacted by the government. So this was not enacted by the government, this was enacted by the constituent assembly. Now एटा देखो paper 2 GS2 paper थोड़ी ना एते technical differentiation हमको दरकार है ठीक है. If you can remember some point you can write it ठीक है. So this is also talking about just and human conditions of work for women, right? And maternity relief. Now what else is there? There is amaro hichi ebe
The sexual
question
harassment
Sexual
prevention and protection.
harassment.
sorry
Sir, Vistaka Act.
very good, excellent. Visakha guidelines we can say. In general Visakha guidelines based on which post act was enacted, right? 2013 Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. Here see because this is not directly related to sexual harassment, चलो एटा को हमें केमिति टिके चेंज करके लिखिया देखो. These are something that you have to understand how we are going to accommodate our answer. Here can we say that in Visakha guideline Supreme Court verdict said that Supreme Court recognized that women have a right to safe workplace. Can we say that? Can anyone say that this sentence is wrong? No one can say this sentence is wrong. Visakha guideline was for to prevent sexual harassment at workplace. ताको हमें एमितिया way रे लिखली कि which is catering to the demand of our question. Okay. So when we are saying safe workplace, then we are saying that this should be the case that we should have a good workplace for good working condition for women. Now if you remember labor code, there are now 4 such labor codes. This has subsumed around 44 previous union and state union laws on labor. Now one of these labor code, I don't remember which one, I think something related to working condition, work safety or something. One of this has actually subsumed an earlier act which was known as Factories Act 1948, and this had a provision that what is the maximum adults that is more than 18 years old, okay, they can at max work for 9 hours a day and or 48 hours a week. So here we can argue that this person Rashika is being made to work too much, which is an abuse of the labor code, right? So you cannot make people work beyond a certain reasonable limit, reasonable time period, right? Similarly, you can also write about Equal Remuneration Act. Equal Remuneration Act says that there should not be any gender pay gap. That means if you are making Rashika work harder, overtime जदि तांको work करा करूଛ, are you paying the same? You are not paying her na extra, so you cannot make her work overtime or OT जाको पावे तुमे तांको जबरदस्ती OT करा करी पाइयो नहीं. So again the joint secretary should have been aware of these things also. Are these not criticisms of the joint secretary? Try to understand that without ensuring all of these things, he is demanding that Rashika should come and work. Okay. So we can argue these things also. Any other law that you can remember? Now, what are your suggestions to mitigate such kind of cases? कौन हमें कही परिया कौन होगा कथा? Now see, when they are saying कि mitigate such cases means they are talking about your long term long term plan जे एमितिया केस मिटिगेट माने एभलिया केस ऑफ फ्यूचर हबो ही नहीं. So now we are reacting to this case, but you suggest something in which such kind of case should not happen or such kind of dilemma should not be created in the first place. So think of what we can do to ensure this. Tell me.
सर गोटे सजेशन है परिबो कि राशिका कैन डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन व्हाट आर द इम्पोर्टेंट वर्क एंड व्हाट कैन बी डेलीगेटेड. तो इम्पोर्टेंट वर्क से निजे इन्वॉल्व रही परिबे एंड टिके जो लेस इम्पोर्टेंट काम होची से तो जूनियर या कॉलिग्स को इन्वॉल्व करि परिबे और से टिके सुपरवाइजरी रोल रे रही परिबे.
Right, it can also be one solution, but I think that yes, because her superior, they say Mr. Suresh is demanding her to prepare a detailed note on an important matter which will be discussed in a meeting in the ministry. So that means ki he is demanding her to be involved. Now suppose she is doing this through a delegate. Okay, let us, you can also write that. I don't think the examiner at the detail पढ़ी के भावे ठीक है, we can write that part also. कि let us say कि how to increase efficiency, increase organizational efficiency, right? How are we going to increase organizational efficiency? For example, by first is allocation of tasks, right? Second is delegation of tasks. Here you can write ki important matter should be handled by the person, by the officer himself or herself, and then less important should be handled by maybe the clerical staffs also, okay, or junior officers. Third thing is that you should also always have backups, right? So allocation of tasks, this should also be equitably and following principle of natural justice. We can argue that, right? Certainly this can be a good way forward. What else?
सर से जो क्रैश फैसिलिटी भी ऑफिसर प्रोवाइड करी हबो तो घर
कौन करिया?
से जो क्रैश फैसिलिटी भी ऑफिसर प्रोवाइड करी हबो that will be more
Very good. And crash actually should have been provided, because remember, as per the Maternity Benefit Act, which has been now amended in 2007, earlier act also, I think employee limit more monopony, maybe 50 or something. Just check it. It is said that 15, no, sorry, I think 10 or something. Any establishment which is having more than 10 employees, it is I'm doubtful. Just check it. 50 or 10 more exactly monopony. But a certain limit, okay. ତାଠାରୁ ଅଧିକା ଯଦି ତୁମର ଏମ୍ପ୍ଲୟି ଅଛନ୍ତି, you are bound to create crash. Now, if Rashika is working in a ministry, then it is bound that there would be more than 100. There might even be 200, 300 employees, right? So that means you should have a crash facility. So if this ethical dilemma is coming, that means there is no crash facility. So crash facility definitely should be there. We can suggest that crash facility for working women should be there, right?
सर जस्ट एक क्रेज रे आई थिंक ताकर से आई थिंक चिल्ड्रन को एज भी देछन 3 and 5, सो आई डोंट थिंक माने 3 year रो से क्रेज फैसिलिटी यूज करछन.
एते टेक्निकल मते जणा नहीं. Maybe some women
That
in
is
our group, they will be able to answer for which age group crash facility is there. 3 years old and 5 years old, can they not be accommodated in crash facility?
सर क्रेज माने जोटा माने दोली टाइप रो माने झुलंती आई थिंक लाइक लेस देन 1 year हिज माने झुलु थांदी तापर तो चला बुला करती.
ठीक है, but we can say कि in general गोटे माने children मान ପାଇଁ गोटे, let us call it a children's room, right? गोटे children's room गोटे create करा दो. This is something way forward you can write. Sort of you can even put some kindergarten kind of stuff there, where playroom, because you can create a playroom for children where children will be kept busy and there would be a supervisor. So the ministry has enough resources to make it become a reality, right? Supervisor को भी रखी दी परिवार में.
सर वर्क କରିପାରିବା କି?
Very good, I was trying to remember. Yes, work from home, excellent. Okay, you tell me, why was this note, when the joint secretary said कि this note should be prepared by Rashika, why was Rashika's personal presence required? He should have understood that she also has a lot of family responsibility. So you provide this option to her कि work from home करो और remote working करो, जहाँ भी कर सको. So this facility should specifically for women employees ମାନଙ୍କୁ provide କରିବା କଥା. because usually they have more responsibility. जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी को यार तुम छाड़ी दो मते बहुत जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी को बहुत राग लाଗୁଛି तुमने को
Sir,
जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी को कौन करा जीव व्हाट शुड द जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी डू
सर जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी मंडे दिन प्राय जेमती कोनोसी मीटिंग न रहू सेटा ट्राई करिया उचित काहे ना ऑलरेडी लोकन को संडे रे टिके
Monday ही सबुठ अधिक मीटिंग ଥାଏ
यस
ସେଇଟା ହିଁ अवॉइड करिया दरकार देले वर्क प्लेस स्मूथ रनिंग हे परियो
Ellora
सर
doesn't want to work on Mondays.
तांको
सर
प्रथम
सेମିତି
रिसोर्स
ନାହିଁ
मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग करिया
संडे
ପାଇଁ
काम
ପଠେଇବେ।
करिया ପାଇଁ चाहूनी
Okay, okay. Yeah, someone else was saying something.
सर ମୁଁ କହୁଥିଲି ତାଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରଥମ ରିସୋର୍ସ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ପାଇଁ ପଠେଇବେ।
Okay, very good. Joint secretary को HRM training रे पठा जाऊ तांको जेंडर सेंसिटिविटी ट्रेनिंग रे पठा जाऊ राइट किछि जानना दी खाली आईएस ହେଇଛନ୍ତି जेंडर सेंसिटिविटी ट्रेनिंग पठा जाऊ तांको आउ कोन ट्रेनिंग को हबो यस राशिका को अच्छा राशिका को हमें कोन करै परिया राशिका को हमें assertiveness ट्रेनिंग करै परिया ओके assertiveness training माने for example one of this includes saying no to people. You would have noticed that many people cannot say no. If you say something, they feel obliged as if to say yes, right? राशि को कहा तो तुम तो नो कहबो ही जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी कहले कहा नहीं सर मुझे करिए
सर
yes
ଆଉ
this can also be
ରାଶିକାକୁ ଗିଲ୍ଟ ନ ରଖିବା କଥା
राशिका को
ଗିଲ୍ଟ ରେ ନ ରହିବା କଥା ଯେ ଗୋଟେ କାମ କରୁଛି ତ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କାମ ହ୍ୟାମ୍ପର ହେଇଯାଉଛି
correct
सर ଆଉ
is this
ତାଙ୍କର
Alisa
ହଜବେଣ୍ଡ କୁ ବି ରେସ୍ପନ୍ସିବଲ ନବା କଥା
yes I was talking about this point कि family responsibility allocation हमें भी करिया कथा so here there would be the role of husband ये रोल से कि husband अब तुम्हें भी किसी रोल नियो to take care of children right तो तार किसी राशिकार किसी responsibility कमी जाओ right this is also a good
सर हमें
solution
କହିପାରିବେ कि maybe we can encourage having joint families.
joint joint family हाँ कोई परिया
ତାଙ୍କ ମେମ୍ବର ମାନେ ଆସିକି ରହିପାରିବେ ମାନେ
difficult
extended family members
हाँ
to take
extended
care of
family
children.
हाँ here you can also mention role of extended family members right ठीक all of these points you can write and in the
Sir, ଆଉ
end what
ଗୋଟେ point ହେଲା କି like somewhere there is a communication gap ଯଦି ମାନେ ରାଶିଆ କହିପାରିବେ କି ମାନେ ଏତିକି ମାନେ ମୁଁ କରିପାରୁନି ବୋଲି ତ ମେ ବି ସେ ଡେଲିଗେଟ୍ କରିବେ ତ ଯେପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ସେ ମାନେ କାମ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ସେ କରିକି ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ତ ମେ ବି ଦ ସୁପିରିୟର ମାନେ ଡଜଣ୍ଟ ନୋ କି ମାନେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେତିକି ବର୍ଡନ
yes
ହଉଛି କି କଣ ହଉଛି
that is also assertiveness training na? You have to assert yourself I can do this okay yes from that I remember see setting a boundary between work life and personal life very important right? Here you can mention this कि राशिका who should do this राशिका should do this राति 10टा 9:30 भी फोन करी काको एमतिया रिक्वेस्ट करे कि माने जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी कहया दिस इज नॉट एप्रोप्रिएट राइट especially up till I think maybe 6 p.m. That is ideal till 6 p.m. you can delegate people tasks you can call people up and you can say काली सुधा ए कामटा कर दे 9:30 रे जणो फोन करी कहछ कि यार संडे दिन काम करी ता मंडे दिन नोट दियो so this is really bad that means you should also take some responsibility why did you inform such माने ते later कहीं inform कला so here Rashika would draw a boundary कि this is work life this is my personal life please don't come into my personal life right and here you can also write from this also I remembered you can write a very good conclusion you can write that in general you can mention there was a private members bill this was forwarded by Supriya Sule so because it was a private members bill so of course it was not accepted it was not passed by the parliament but this was a private members bill on work life balance itself okay so we can say that we can pass such kind of thing we can make a law this was called as right to disconnect Supriya Sule said that we should working professionals should have right to disconnect कि after a certain period of time your boss should not be able to call you okay? And if they are calling you if they are bothering you then they should be punished can you say that this is a good thing I personally feel this is a good thing okay ଆମକୁ somehow अच्छा ଏଇଥିରୁ
This
ତମେ
is
ଭାବ
highly impractical in India ମାନେ right to
yes
disconnect
I was just going to say that. See, whenever you are saying this, na, some people would say that this is impractical. Now, why will you say this is impractical? Because you will say that there would be some emergency scenario. There will be a public issue. Right? You will say that in this case, how are you going to relax? How are you going to disconnect? Our entire point is that because we don't have this thing, because we assume that people should be available all of the time, even for 24/7, specifically for these kind of incidents. That is why we don't have any backup. There is no systemic level रे किसी भी backup नहीं total, because यही सब माने चलता है attitude रे चलची ना हमर सब दिन चलता है. Actually हबो कोन suppose emergency public issue आगरो कोन ही नथि बहुत सारा emergency हो कथा हो गोटे emergency सरी गला emergency we are not learning anything, no lessons learned. Now you saw that okay emergency period रे हमें जहाँ पटा के सामान आसी हाजिर है, so no lessons learned. Now again you are making people work like that. Now what can be a solution to this? Now think about this. Consider a profession, for example, of even between among the public servants. Consider a function of police persons, right? Police, if you understand, they are one of the most overworked professionals in our country, right? Now what is the rationale given for their overworking? We are say that कि पुलिस केमती ब्रेक नहीं जियो, पुलिस ब्रेक नहीं गले इमरजेंसी आसजियो, पब्लिक इश्यू होइजो, पुलिस छुट्टी रहले तो माने चोरी डकैती बढ़िजो, right? This is your argument, right? Now this means that our human resource management is poor. Now you think we have a huge police force, right? Why don't you divide this into different shifts? So divide some people into day shift, divide some into night shift. And in the night shift people, even among the night shift people, you would see your strength is relatively less or your strength is अधिक. And if you remember Prakash Singh directive case, Supreme Court had also said you also divide the function of police or police force itself should be divided into two types. One kind of police should be for law and order issue. One side of police should be for investigation. Why have you not done this? Now the same police, they are doing investigation, they are also doing law and order. And this is actually more taxing. There, it is taking a lot of stress. It is creating a lot of stress, taking a lot of time for them. So divide police into these two type of units. And आमे human resource management appropriately करि पारो नाहु बोली emergency case रे आमे ही panic करू. And finally जेतर जेमती जेमती जिनसटा manage हेउची तर आमे हमको किछि lesson मिलु नै, we are continuing in the same case. So I personally think that this is a good thing. It should be implemented for all professions. There should be a right to disconnect. Similarly, think of even doctors. You allocate some doctors, major proportion of doctors, they should have day shift, because usually day shift रे ही maximum लोग माने आसी. But night shift रे भी किछि लोग doctors थी. And you create enough number of, here issue is that there are not enough number of doctors. So you create the infrastructure, create more medical colleges, create more number of doctors, then you provide some intern in night shift. Now these people who have maybe work for 8 to 10 hours a day, we should not expect them to work for night shift also. And if you are saying emergency case रे man ही ऐसी night shift करिए, that means you are doing something wrong. You are not able to properly allocate your human resources, right? This is my argument. And in general, if you go into service also, you will realize, I will personally tell you, the greatest barrier to our productivity of our IS, IPS, OS, all officers, IPS, OPS, whoever you think, the greatest barrier to our officer is WhatsApp. This is something I have realized. Point होचे कौन होगा देखो तुम्हें सर्विस रे जॉइन करियो ये वाला जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी और एनी अदर सेक्रेटरी ओके एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी सपोज ताका पाखो किछ गोटे काम आसे ସେମାନେ କଣ କରିବେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ଜଷ୍ଟ ଟୁ କ୍ଲିୟର ଇଟ୍ ଫ୍ରମ देयर डेस्क दे विल WhatsApp रे मेसेज कर दे फाइल टा ए कामटा बाबू तुमे करो तळे आउ जणे के सेक्रेटरी थिबे सपोज डेप्यूटी सेक्रेटरी he will forward it to some other unfortunate secretary. This secretary will forward to the DM. DM would have 1000 works to do. DM would forward it to the unfortunate video tahsildar. So whoever is forwarding, they will again forward it to the very ground level. PEO thibo, GRS thibo, okay, GRI thibo. So suppose this is happening at 11 a.m. This person is in the field work. से किसी जाएगी तार करूची काम. Immediately call आसियो कि देखो तुमको WhatsApp रे पठाई छी ए कामटा immediately करो. एबे से काम को छाडी ता पछरे दौड़ियो. तो ये जो कामटा करथला एटा को मे बी आउ 7 days डिले हिजो. जोटा immediately से टाइम रे सरी थांदा सेटा 7 days डिले हिजो. Now what the secretary should have understood, what one of my solutions to this problem is, whatever task is there, you send it in batches first of all. Okay. So suppose we will say ki at 10:30 a.m. all of the tasks will be, this is one slot, at 6 p.m. of the day, or let us say 4 p.m., 5 p.m., whatever it is, another batch. In between, there should not be any such kind of issue. जत्ते भी emergency हो, मतलब जदि emergency ହେଲା, why were you not able to plan it before? That means ଯାହାକୁ ଲାଗିଲା emergency ଅଛି, it is his or her responsibility. He should have better allocated the resources. ଏବେ batches ରେ ଗଲେ କ'ଣ ହବ? This person is able to, ଯିଏ ବି ground level ରେ ଅଛି, the person will be able to allocate his or her day accordingly. Okay, day to structure କରିକି ଆମେ ଭଲସେ କାମ କରିପାରିବା. Otherwise କ'ଣ ଗୋଟେ fragmentation of attention ହଉଛି, ଆମର attention ଟା ବହୁତ fragment ହେଇଯାଉଛି, and attention is a fragment ହୁଏ, ଆମ productivity drastically reduce. This is similar to what you are doing when studying. ଯଦି बार बार तुम्हें phone check करियो, तुम्हारा attention down हो, right? Anyway,
sir,
I got
sir,
yes.
ମୋର query ଥିଲା କି sir जो right to disconnect କହିଲେ sir ସେଇଟା lower bureaucracy ରେ ମାନେ ଇଏରେ implementation ହେଇପାରିବ, but higher level ରେ sir implementation ହବାଟା ମାନେ ଟିକେ ମାନେ
again ତମକୁ ଯାହା ଲାଗୁଛି ନା, ଏ feeling ଆସୁଛି କି କ'ଣ issue ହେଇଯିବ, state ର
sir
ପୁରା ଖରାପ ପଡିବ. ଆଚ୍ଛା,
ଯେମିତି କି sir ଯଦି କିଛି ଗୋଟେ law and order situation ହେଲା, ହଁ ଆପଣ ପୋଲିସ କୁ ଇଏ କରିକି DSP ଫିଏସପି ଯାଇକି ଏଟ୍ ଦ ଇଏ ପାଖରେ ଠିଆ ହେଇପାରିବେ, ବଟ୍
very
ଏସପି
good.
ତ ନିଜେ ହିଁ ସିଏ ରହିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ନା, ଯଦି ମାନେ କିଛି ହେଲା ମାନେ ଲାଇକ୍ ସିଏ ତ ପୁରା ରହିବାକୁ ହିଁ ପଡିବ ନା ନା ଆଉ ସେଇଟାରେ ଡିଭାଇଡ ଥୋଡି ନା, ମତେ ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ କନଫ୍ୟୁଜିଂ ଲାଗୁଛି.
ଆଚ୍ଛା, you tell me, US president ଆଉ ଆମ state ର ଗୋଟେ SP, ତାଙ୍କ ଦୁଇ ଜଣଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ କାହାର ବେଶୀ responsibility? You tell me.
Obviously US president
US president takes 1 week break every week. This is the December month. Usually. Do you know this? He or she doesn't do any work. 1 week completely off. So US କ'ଣ December ମାସରେ ଭାଙ୍ଗି ପଡେ, US ର ପୁରା law and order ଭାଙ୍ଗି ଯାଏ? You think that SP ଯଦି 1 week break ନେଇଗଲେ, you think that law and order will go to hell? It will not happen. Let me assure you. I will even assure you, no matter how good an officer you are, if you leave that post, the world will not come to an end. Right? We think that it will come. Now the problem is that, see, when a US president is going in a break, so what? See, there will be people who are going to do crime in that session also. There would be people who are going to work to harm America at that time also. So what is his plan beforehand? So he would have set other people. So ଆମେ phases wise ଆମେ କରିବା. Suppose ଆମେ କହିବା ଯେ ଏଇ ଅଫିସର କିଛି ଲୋକମାନେ ଏଇ ପିରିୟଡରେ କାମ କରିବେ, ଆଉ କିଛି ଲୋକମାନେ ଏଇ ପିରିୟଡରେ କାମ କରିବେ, ଆଉ କିଛି ଲୋକ ଏଇ ପିରିୟଡରେ କାମ କରିବେ. So staggered way ରେ we will take break. This can also happen. If the president says କି ମୁଁ continuously କାମ କରିବି, then his or her own productivity will also decrease. This is something unfortunately our Indian people we don't understand. कि ଆମେ ଭାବୁ କି ଆମର productivity increase କେତେବେଳେ ହବ? 24 ଘଣ୍ଟା ଅଫିସରେ ବସିଲେ productivity increase ହବ. ଯୋଉ ଲୋକ ଦିନରେ 10 ଘଣ୍ଟା ଅଫିସରେ ବସୁଛି, ଆମକୁ ଲାଗେ ୱାଓ ଇଏ ତ ବହୁତ କାମ କରୁଛି. I would rather say କି ଯୋଉ ଲୋକ 10 hours ଅଫିସରେ ବସୁଛି, ତାଠୁ ବଡ ବେଉକୁଫ କେହି ନାହିଁ. ତାର ମାନେ ହଉଛି ତୁମକୁ 10 ଘଣ୍ଟା ଲାଗୁଛି କାମଟା କରିବାକୁ, that means you are inefficient. On the other hand, if someone is sitting in the office for 5 hours, but he or she is able to do all the work, then we should rather appreciate this person. We should learn from this person, right? So US president यार 1 week break नहीं होती. Bill Gates takes, if you know this or not, think weeks. Okay, or think weeks or read weeks, I don't remember. So this person is the chairman of Microsoft. At least now he still has a huge share. Okay, now he takes entirely 1 week, 2 week off just to read. He takes a lot of books and he goes to a secluded place in which he is not at all connected. तब ता कंपनी रे कौन होची? अबे बिल गेट्स भाबे कि माइक्रोसॉफ्ट जदी गोटे वीक भितर बुडी गला हम कोन करी? You think the world will come to an end, but point is थर छाड़ी की देखो, relax की देखो, it will not come to an end. But the point is beforehand you have to arrange stuff, right? We have to arrange ki who is going to take responsibility. For example, let me tell you, if SP in general SP भी कौन छुट्टी नहीं होती, SP छुट्टी नहीं होती, SP छुट्टी नहीं ले सकते कि SP will take in charge, माने in charge रहेगा ना से टाइम. Later on ASP will go on holiday, then SP will be in charge. So it is all about human resource management. So if you are having any issue, that means that you are not able to rotate your manpower efficiently. That is the issue, right?
Sir, I completely agree, but just खाली ଗୋଟେ ମୁଁ point add କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି କି ମାନେ private organization ରେ the problem of plenty ଗୋଟେ phenomenon ଅଛି. ତ ଯିଏ ବି lower level ରେ କାମ କରେ ତ ତାକୁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଏମିତି ମାନେ ତ କଣ କହନ୍ତି direct indirect ସବୁବେଳେ threaten କରାଯାଏ ଯେ ତୁ ଯଦି ମାନେ 24/7 available now, you are replaceable. So I completely agree ମାନେ whatever you're saying, but that is the reality, ground reality in private sector, especially in the lower strata.
तो सेटा तो भलो ना मु तो चाहूँ सेटा ऑफिसर लेवल ले सेटा हो you should have enough number of officers that you can threaten with कि if you are not doing good work you would be removed ଆମର ଅଫିସର ମାନଙ୍କର ଏମିତି ବି ଇନ ଜେନେରାଲ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ କଣ ହେଲା କି କିଛି ଅଫିସର ବହୁତ ଓଭର ୱାର୍କିଂ ଭଲ ଅଛନ୍ତି କିଛି ଅଫିସର ଅଛନ୍ତି ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କୁ ଡେଡଉଡ୍ କୁହାଯାଏ କାମ ବେଶୀ ଭଲ କିଛି କରିବେନି ବିକଜ ଦେ ନୋ କି ତାଙ୍କର ଜବ ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି ଅଛି we should have a pool of officers from which we can draw people so even that will do work better ଆମେ କହିବା କି ତମେ ଅଳ୍ପ ଦିନ କାମ କର କିନ୍ତୁ ଭଲ କାମ କର ରାଇଟ୍ କରପ୍ସନ କରିବ ନାହିଁ କିଛି ଖରାପ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟି କରିବ ନାହିଁ and you meet all our targets then we'll keep you for that time period then if someone is going on break also then you can have other officers who can take the role ଆମର ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହଉଛି କି ଆମର ଅଫିସର ମାନଙ୍କର ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ଭ୍ୟାକେନ୍ସି ଯେତିକି ଥାଏ ତାଠୁ କମ ଭ୍ୟାକେନ୍ସି ମାନେ କମ ଫିଲ୍ଅପ୍ ହୁଏ ଏମିତି ଜଣେ ଜଣେ ଅଫିସର ମଲ୍ଟିପଲ ଚାର୍ଜେସ୍ ରେ ଥିବେ now even if they are inefficient then you are still you are forced to work with them and even I'll say the practical experience I'll say कि even worse is that the lower level employees okay चलो तो बहुत political issue है जो it's very difficult to work with people because they know they are in a job in which they cannot be thrown out they are very
Sir,
very
so
relaxed
in
okay
this
officer
case,
will come
মানে এটা ଗୋଟେ vacancy is a much more serious issue than management of human resources no? ମାନେ ଏଇ ଯଦି ଏଇ ଦୃଷ୍ଟିରୁ ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ତ vacancy ଯଦି fill up ହଉନି ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ limited ରେ ଆମେ manage କେମିତି କରିବା ତ ସେଇଟା ବି ଗୋଟେ point
हाँ
ହେଇପାରିବ
back
କି ମାନେ fill up the
हाँ हाँ
vacancies
yes yes you can say कि in general it should not be the case ना vacancy रखे हुए कहीं vacancy रखेगा ही बहुत खराब चीज है vacancy एतପାଇଁ usually political reasons ପାଇଁ vacant ରଖାଯାଏ because ମାନେ ଆଉ ବହୁତ ସାରା ହ୍ୟୁମାନ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟର୍ସ ବି ଅଛି ଜେଲସି ବି ବହୁତ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି ମାନେ ସ୍ପେସିଫିକଲି ଯୋଉ ହାୟର ଲେଭେଲରେ ଯୋଉ ଭ୍ୟାକେନ୍ସି ଗୁଡା ଥାଏ ବି ତଥାପି ସେମାନେ ବାହାର କରନ୍ତି ବିକଜ ଦେ ଆର୍ ଲାଇକ୍ କି ଏବେ ନୂଆ ଲୋକ ଆମ ଲେଭେଲକୁ ଆସିଗଲେ ଦେ ୱିଲ୍ ଅଲସୋ ବିଲ୍ଡ ପାୱାର ତ ହାୟର ଲେଭେଲରେ ଏଇ ଇସ୍ୟୁଟା ହୁଏ ଲୋଅର ଲେଭେଲରେ ଭ୍ୟାକେନ୍ସି ଏଥିପାଇଁ ଥାଏ କି ୟୁଜୁଆଲି କି ଦେ ନୋ କି ସେମାନେ ବେଶୀ ଏଫିସିଏଣ୍ଟ ବି ନୁହନ୍ତି ତମେ ଯେତିକି ଅଛନ୍ତି କହିକି ତମେ ସେଥିରେ ଇନଏଫିସିଏଣ୍ଟ ହେଲେ ବି ତାଙ୍କ ଥ୍ରୁରେ କାମ କର ନୂଆ ଲୋକ ଆସିବେ ଏଇଭଳିଆ ଗୋଟେ ଆଟିଟ୍ୟୁଡ ଅଛି ନୂଆ ଲୋକ ଆସିବେ ସେମାନେ ବି କାମ କରିବେନି ଚାଲ ସିଏ ତ ବହୁତ ସାଇଡ ଟ୍ରାକ୍ ହେଇଗଲେ we should come to the main point let's go to the next topic okay I mean what a case study about time ରହିଗଲା so let us come to the next case study it's about Vinod who is an honest and sincere IAS officer so recently he has taken over as managing director of State Road Transport Corporation SRTC this is his sixth transfer in past 3 years can you tell me what this signifies
ସେ honest ଅଛି ବହୁତ ସେଇପାଇଁ
very
transfer
good
ହେଇଯାଉଛି।
that means we can guess that this person is very honest right so his peers acknowledge his vast knowledge, affability, uprightness, whatever. Chairman of SRTC is a powerful politician and is very close to CM. Vinod comes to know about many alleged irregularities of the corporation and the high-handedness of the chairman in financial matters. Okay. Then a board member of the corporation belonging to the opposition party means in the board member there are many people who might be from different political parties. So this person is the means he is the opposite party of this chairman of the corporation. So he meets Vinod and hands over a few documents along with a video recording in which the chairman appears to be demanding bribe for placing a huge order for supply of QMR tires. Okay. And Vinod also recollects the chairman expediting clearing of pending bills of QMR tires. ମାନେ ସେ ଆସି ଦେଖେଇଲେ ଭିଡିଓ ଦେଖେଇଲେ କି ଏ ବାବୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଯେ ଚେୟାରମ୍ୟାନ ଯିଏ ସିଏ ବ୍ରାଇବ୍ ମାଗୁଛନ୍ତି QMR ଟାୟାର ର ଫାଇଲ କ୍ଲିୟର କରିବାକୁ एंड विनोद रो भी मन पड़ला कि हाँ सी तो मत आगु भी कहते कि जल्दी पैसा डिपोजिट कर दियो क्यूएमआर टायर राइट सो दैट मीन्स कि सम काइंड ऑफ डिसऑनेस्ट ट्रांजैक्शन हैज हैपेंड बिटवीन chairman and maybe the QMR tires right so Vinod confronts the board member and Vinod तांग पचाले कि बाबू तुमने निजे काहे की एक्सपोज करनो मते काहे की आनकी वीडियो दोछ ये भी बोर्ड मेंबर थे जो ऑपोजिशन पार्टी रे सो बोर्ड मेंबर कहले कि फर्स्ट कथा चेयरमैन मो कथा सुनु नांदी सेकंड कथा हला कि माने विनोद जदि करिया माने आपण जदि करिवे यू विल अर्न रिकॉग्निशन एंड पब्लिक सपोर्ट राइट if you are exposing the chairman because if I am doing it people will say it is because of political opposition if a bureaucrat will allege it then it will be more credible and he is also saying that we know that once his party comes to power your professional growth would be assured okay ଆମ party next election ne power ko ଆସିବାର ଅଛି so we are going to give you suitable reward so Vinod is also aware that he may be penalized if he exposes the chairman and may be further be transferred already बहुत सारा transfer ହେଇଯାଇଛି तो आउथरे पुणी हबो to a distance place he also knows that opposition party stands a better chance of coming to power in the forthcoming election so there is a माने लेयर ऑफ दैट आल्सो कि this person is going to be in power in the next term, and he also realizes that the board member is trying to use him for his own political gains. इसे निजे expose न करी मते expose करेगा कहउछन. So what are the options available to Vinod, and comment upon the ethical issues that may arise due to politicization of bureaucracy. Bureaucracy ର politicization ପାଇଁ कौन कौन ethical issue arise हबो. So you tell me कि introduction हम कौन करिया, और generic line कौन लिख करिया. Anyone? This case study pertains to ethical issue, ethical dilemma related to what? Very simple, you can even write corruption in professional setting, right? कुछ भी लिखो, এটা यार इंट्रोडक्शन एते मैटर करे, बिकॉज़ योर एंटायर 20 मार्कर क्वेश्चन है, तुम्हारा बॉडी टा एते ह्यूज थियो जे, सो दे विल मेनली सी योर body part, how you are going to write. Now what are the options available to Vinod? Tell me.
Sir, first say veracity of the video. Let's check the veracity of the video because there are multiple technologies such as deep fakes and other कि माने सेटा भी फेक भी ହେଇଥାଇ ପାରେ ଭିडिଓ ଟା.
ठीक अछि, let us say कि we will check the suppose after checking the point is कि जदि एमती ethical dilemma दिया है it is likely that it is true. Okay. Otherwise देखो जदि वीडियो टा कथा होची एटा ethical
सर
dilemma
मो
है
एथिकल दिलो एथे कहली मे बी सपोज सेटा फेक थिबो आ तांको जस्ट पॉलिटिकल टूल हिसाब रे तांको यूज करा होची फेक वीडियो जस्ट
okay.
सेंसरालाइज
हाँ
कर
can
देबे
happen.
आ माने बट सेटा सत्य ही नथबो जदि इन्वेस्टिगेटर जणा पड़ला तो
Right, but
गोटे
कथा होची कि सेटा you have to understand कि सेटा हेतिले कोन तांको the point of this case study was not कि see the opposition party member does he have anything against Vinod, से काहे कि विनोद को फ्रेम करियो काहे ट्राई करी, तांकर टारगेट होची जे एसआरटीसी रो जे चेयरमैन, बिकॉज़ that person is close to the chief minister, so they are targeting the chairman, they don't care about Vinod. एई वाला इश्यू यदि हला ताल तो पब्लिक सिंपैथी रहियो अपोजिट पार्टी आडू, माने पब्लिक सिंपैथी विल रिमेन विथ द opposition party, sorry जो हमर chief minister आडू को रहियो, because his party was being framed, so the opposition party माने काहे कि ताको फ्रेम करियो ट्राई करी. ओके, so that part we have to assume कि it is probably ठीक है. तुम गोटे पॉइंट लिखि पारियो कि फर्स्ट वी हैव टू देखो सॉल्यूशन और वे फॉरवर्ड रे हमें कैन राइट कि फर्स्ट वी हैव टू, अच्छा वे फॉरवर्ड भी देनी ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल रे इनिशियल लिखि दो कि आफ्टर चेकिंग द वेरासिटी ऑफ द वीडियो देन ही इज गोइंग टू डू दिस एंड दैट, यू कैन मेंशन. बट अदरवाइज आई थिंक कि जदी एटा हेई ही न थांदा करेक्ट ताल तो एटा एथिकल इशू एराइजिंग हो, सो इट इज लाइकली दैट दिस इज ए माने वीडियो रे किछ मैनिपुलेशन सेमतिया हेई नै. सो द एथिकल इशू इज बिकॉज़ ऑफ दिस डिलेमा of whether he should expose the chairman himself or whether he should take any other steps, right? So okay, let's say ki what are the options. Yes, anyone else can tell me on option available achi. See, it is initial GIT as a conscientious civil servant, means it is already being told to you that you cannot stay silent. Okay, mane Vinod cannot stay silent as a conscientious civil servant, he has to take some action, otherwise you cannot write one option ki माने आमे किछि गोटे एमती सॉफ्ट काइंड ऑफ ऑप्शन लिखो ना जोटा कि आमे परे निजे पुन कहू कि एटा ठीक ऑप्शन से ऑप्शन भी हम पाखे अवेलेबल नाही हो तो
सर फर्स्ट तो चेक करिया से जो टेंडर टा हमर हितला सेटारे किछि इरेगुलरिटी हेछि कि नाही, एक्चुअली तार किछि
very good,
रिसर्च.
very good, this is a good माने थिंकिंग. फर्स्ट यू हैव टू चेक, लेट्स से कि ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल टू नो दिस कि आमे कहया कि फर्स्ट हला इनिशियल वेरिफिकेशन, कहा कार वेरिफिकेशन करिया. वेरिफिकेशन हियर वी कैन राइट कि से वीडियो टा चलो एटा मेंशन करता वीडियो, देन टेंडर प्रोसेस जो थरे क्यूएमआर टायर क्यूएमआर थला ना, क्यूएमआर टायर को जो थरे अवार्ड करा हितला, राइट. सो दिस इज द इनिशियल वेरिफिकेशन. सपोज इनिशियल वेरिफिकेशन ने इरेगुलरिटीज बाहर, जदि बिकॉज़ सी जदि इरेगुलरिटीज नहीं देन एथिकल डिलेमा विच राइज हो, देन विनोद कैन गो होम हैप्पीली, ही हैज नो एथिकल इशू. So suppose there is ethical financial irregularities there, what is he going to do next?
सर confront the chairman
Okay, what will he confront chairman with? कौन
with
कहेगा?
all the proofs and the proofs of irregularities and to
Okay,
confront कि माने
Sir,
Okay,
instead
but
of
confront
confronting the chairman directly, so I think like tender process ଟା ତ only chairman କରିନଥିବେ ନା, ତାଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ board ଟା ଥିବ ସେମାନେ କରିଥିବେ, ତ board member ସହିତ ଯିଏ ବି ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ discussion କରିକି ଏ ବିଷୟରେ discuss କରିବା ଦରକାର next step, directly ତାଙ୍କୁ point
okay.
କରିବା।
Let's say कि raise an internal complaint.
Yes, sir.
So
sir,
internal complaint
internal
first
complaint.
करिए, right? Within SRTC, this should be actually the first case. Okay, because after that you can lodge FIR, all of these things you can do, right? So raise an internal complaint and inform the board members. ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ ବହୁତ ସାରା board member ଜାଣି ବି ନଥିବେ, maybe they are maybe innocent, so you have to inform them initially. Okay, then and in this also you can also hand over the documents. Okay, चलो इटा को ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ next point हम करदा. Okay, suppose even after that they are not taking any action, suppose the chairman is threatening them. Okay, so now you are going to hand over the documentation. Okay, hand over the video or proof, whatever you have, evidence you have, right? You are going to hand it over to the SRTC, one copy. Now it is also again assumed that this is not going to work, because why? Because the chairman is powerful, right? So chairman, because of chairman, he will not be allowed, he is not going to do anything. So next when you see no action is being taken, now you go to the maybe you will act as a whistleblower, right? Because initially हमको कह दिया है कि he is a conscientious civil servant, so we have to provide, हमें हमें यही option से कह पाएगा कि he will not do anything, right? So as a whistleblower you are going to disclose irregularities. So there is a whistleblower protection act 2019 or something, what recently got asked, right? So this is also supposed to protect the whistleblowers. So we are going to take advantage of this whistleblower protection act, right? Now suppose okay, suppose even after this nothing is being done, then what is he going to do? What is he not going to do?
Sir, media को approach करते.
See, here it is bit controversial. I don't think that you should. Okay, you can write one option available. You can write this. Okay, go to media माने होची और publicly inform करें. कथा होची कि यदि तुम whistleblower करते था तो यार point किछ नहीं. But this is also a controversial part. Okay, यार भी pros and cons. Yes.
Sir, publicly कि media को
Sir,
involve
senior
करिए
authority
तो
सहित contact करिए होगा.
as a
Higher authority, yes, you can go.
the higher authority of vigilance.
But कथा होची see, if you are going to higher authority, vigilance will come under the vigilance department का under home department under home department under chief minister's office. Chief minister is close to this chairman of SRTC. So again we can expect that if this is the case, then higher authority को जिबार point किछ नहीं, but just to follow the protocol. Okay, following the protocol is also important, so that future litigation से बेसी किछि असुविधा न होई पारे. So just to follow the protocol, he can provide this all the information to vigilance department, home department, all of this, and it will escalate. It might happen that finally vigilance department will close the chapter, but still you have to follow the protocol. But I will say that even more dangerous is going to media or public. Okay, it is very very dangerous. Cons would be that first of all there is a threat to your life also. Media को directly follow. Politicization, entire politicization. जो क्वेश्चन उठिला, if you are doing this then your politicization तो increase होगा ना. मीडिया को गले people love this, right? Media will create even more controversy. And what will be the pros? By the way, pros तो बहुत ही कम हो. Pros होगा कि चलो you are exposing the nexus, whatever you can say, है ना? So your integrity is complete, whatever it is. But going to media, I will say कि this is not a good. But yeah, one of the it is question पचरा है ना. What are the options available? You can say this is one of the options. पर I am कहेंगे options right up at the भलो no. But yes, it is one of the options. What else?
Sir, just got a doubt ला से जो whistleblower point टा तो से actually whistleblower कोर्ट ही करे माने normally media रे ही करते ना माने कोर्ट
ना
document release करते.
whistleblowing माने anonymously you will file a complaint. You will all the details and with also writing your own माने information कि who you are, तुम्हारा identification दे कि भी will forward it. But जो portal को पठेवो से they will not माने tag you or anything. So they will take up the case and anonymous basis रे now you will not be followed or tracked or anything. So they will judge it on the merit of itself. If they find nothing is I mean କିଛି ଯଦି ଅଛି ଯଦି ତାହେଲେ it is fine. ଯଦି କିଛି ନାହିଁ ତାହେଲେ it will be dismissed. Okay, so you are not going to face a lot of issues.
ତ ସେଟା
In
ଗୋଟେ
that
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ
case,
ମାନେ ସେପାରେଟ ପୋର୍ଟାଲ ଗୋଟେ ଥାଏ ମାନେ
ହଁ
ଯୋଉଟା
ହଁ exactly କୋଉ portal ମୋର ମନେ ପଡୁନି, but whistle blower ମାନେ ହଉଛି anonymously you will ମାନେ without informing higher authority directly any person can submit this kind of information, right? The meaning of whistle blower. इशू କେତେବେଳେ ହୁଏ କି whistle blower କିଏ କରିଛି ସେ ବେଳେ ବେଳେ ଡେଟାଟା ଯଦି ଲିକ୍ ହେଇଗଲା, for example the person themselves also sometimes leak it, and leakage ହେଇଗଲା ମାନେ ସେ issue ହେଇଯିବ, then they will be targeted and all, but in general whistle blowing still it is fine. Point is ki usually if you have seen ki RTI activist who was killed in the paper, so देखिए ना इस articles, usually it is mentioned that he was a whistleblower, so people don't understand the technical term. In that case the RTI activists are not whistleblowers, they are simply asking information publicly and they are also taking public information. So a lot of people know the identity of who is asking the question, so those kind of people cannot be called as whistleblowers, right? बट मीडिया न्यूज पेपर ये आर्टिकल देखिए तुम भावियोनी कि व्हिसल ब्लोइंग भी ताले बहुत डेंजरस तो आमे करिया करता सेमती किछ नहीं, यू कैन आल्सो प्रोवाइड इनफॉरमेशन अंडर माने व्हिसल ब्लोअर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट, ठीक। पर कथा होची तार मेन प्रॉब्लम सेटन मेन प्रॉब्लम हला व्हिसल ब्लोअर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट अंडर जहां भी अछि जो भी फैसिलिटी अछि सेतरे एते इनफॉरमेशन आसे जे इवन दे आर यू नो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इज आल्सो baffled कि व्हिच इज द करेक्ट वन। सो usually action किछि निया होएनी, व्हिसल ब्लोअर रे तुम यदि सबमिट करे action will not be taken usually, that is the issue, right? It is not the issue कि they will leak your information.
सर ଆଉ
Okay.
ଏଇ କେସରେ ମୁଁ କହୁଥିଲି କି ଯଦି ଇରେଗୁଲାରିଟିଜ ଜଣା ପଡୁଛି ଅଛି ତ କରପ୍ସନ ହେଇଛି ମାନେ ତ ଏଠି ଆଉ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଥଟ୍ କିଛି ରଖିବା କଥା ନୁହେଁ ସେ ଅନେଷ୍ଟ ଆଇଏଏସ୍ ଅଫିସର ଯେହେତୁ ସେ ଫାଇଲ କେସ୍ ମାନେ କେସ୍ ଫାଇଲ କରିଦବା କଥା ନେକ୍ସଟ ଭିଜିଲାନ୍ସ କଣ କରିବ ନ କରିବ ସେଟା ତ ତାଙ୍କ ହାତରେ ଆଉ ନାହିଁ।
ठीक है, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन एक्ट हमें कहा because the person is
ଆଜ୍ଞା
who is doing this, he or
କରପ୍ସନ
she is
ବୋଧେ
a chairman, is a public servant also, so we can file a case under prevention of corruption act, correct? This can also happen, ठीक। any other thing, any other option available to this conscientious person?
सर
Yes.
चेयर को कौन परसुएट करि परिबा कि ऑपोजिशन वाला
जी ब्राइब नहीं करते काम करे ताको परसुएट कोन करियो, ठीक अछि। One point you can write, try to persuade the chairman. Try to persuade the chairman. Personally, I don't know. Let others ask. What do you think? Should we write such kind of option? The practically, to move, I will never recommend you to go and persuade the person ki babu. Because the point is try to understand. If someone is corrupt, that is part of their personality. Okay. It is very difficult for you to convince a person to change their personality. Personality change करियाटा बहुत ही difficult. तो हमें convince करी कि कहा को तार पर्सनालिटी को चेंज कर परिया कि सपोज से आज भी सपोज से ब्राइब न नेले, सपोज ड्यू टू एनी एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर तुमरो थ्रेटनिंग देखी कि ए डेंजर रो कि सपोज दे आर गोइंग टू गेट कन्विक्टेड, सो फॉर द टाइमिंग दे हैव स्टॉप, आफ्टर यू लीव द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दे आर अगेन गोइंग टू स्टार्ट इट। So as a conscientious person, what are you going to do? Suppose you are going then confronting again. Why I didn't write की confrontation mu initially कहीं की लिखिलिनी because confrontation करियर तार outcome केते हबो पड़नो, but okay, let's say कि confront and try to persuade. Try to कौन by the way कौन persuade हम करिया हम? Should we try? माने should we ask him? Should he ask the chairman कि have you taken the bribe? Suppose he said कि नहीं मुझे bribe ही नहीं, तो मानिबी ही नहीं। ଯଦି ମାନିବେନି ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହିଁ କେମିତି କରିବା? ମୁଁ ତ ନେଇ ହିଁ ନାହିଁ। କେହି ପର୍ସନ ସେମିତି କେହି ମାନିବେ କି ଦିସ୍ ହାଜ ହ୍ୟାପେଣ୍ଡ? नो वन इज गोइंग टू एक्सेप्ट ना, तो हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू तापर आउ कन्फ्रंट तापर अथॉरिटी थ्रेटनिंग देई परियो, बट अगेन इफ यू आर गिविंग देम थ्रेटनिंग दैट इज आल्सो ए लीगल इशू, तुम पे लीगल इशू आसीयो ना। तुम सेही लोक को डायरेक्टली अप्रोच कले सेटा गोटे लीगल इशू ही परियो कि नाउ द पर्सन विल गो टू द कोर्ट एंड से कि से मते इलीगली मते थ्रेटन करयो ट्राई करथले टू गेन सम मनी और फेवर फ्रॉम मी। So it is better to directly approach police or other higher, even higher authority को approach करेगा better rather than you approaching the person। तापर तो directly तमे जाई से लोक संगे interact करिया भी कथा नहीं। सपोज से लोक आसियो कि भाई चला हम डिनर रे जिबा संडे दिन, सीधा मना करिया कथा बिकॉज़ सेटा पर लीगल इशू हो, राइट? एंड से माने कोन करे से डिनर तुम्हारा वीडियो नहीं कि कोर्ट रे देखे कि आज्ञा ये कोन कि हमरो केस टाको पब्लिक करिया पूर्वरु किछि भी कंप्लेंट होवा पूर्वरु देखंतु आमे थरे जाइतिलु देखाइतिलु, and in that meeting he was demanding bribe for me, when I declined then he has framed this charge against me, okay? So these kind of legal issue you have to avoid. You cannot inform someone ki I'm going to take this kind of action, right? So for that reason I don't think you should write, but depends on exam re लिखि दो सेमती किछि, it's not a huge mistake or anything। So
सर
I think
ए
yes.
सर ए केस
हाँ हाँ
स्टडीରେ जस्ट ଗୋଟେ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଥିଲା କି ମାନେ ସେ ଅପୋଜିସନ ମେମ୍ବର ବି ଗୋଟେ ଏମିତି ଅଫର ବି ଦଉଥିଲେ କି ତମେ ଯଦି ଏଟା ଏକ୍ସପୋଜ କରିବ ତମକୁ ଫେଭରେବଲ କିଛି ଦିଆହବ ଇଫ ୟୁ କମ୍ ଟୁ ପାୱାର ତ ସେଇଟା ମାନେ କିଛି ମେନସନ କରିବା ଦରକାର କି ମାନେ
चलो opposition party member regarding ତାଙ୍କର କଣ action ହବ we should also discuss that. So the point is, one point is very clear that you should not take the offer of this person, not at all. Cannot take the offer in the sense ki if you are taking the offer, who is this? Is this a constitutional position? Opposition party member. The point is ki this person is okay. चलो board ର member हिसाब रे किसी तांकर suppose किसी standing अछि. But point is, if you have the evidence, why are you not going to the court yourself? Now this person is saying देखो तांकर केते silly argument. Person is saying कि chairman refuses to yield to his threats. So member କହୁଛି କି chairman ମୋ threatening ଶୁଣୁନାହାନ୍ତି ତ ତୁମେ କହିବ ଆପଣଙ୍କ threatening ଯଦି ଶୁଣୁନାହାନ୍ତି ତାହେଲେ ମୋ threatening ସେ କାହିଁକି ଶୁଣିବେ okay ନାଇଁ so this is also a counter argument we can make. So why are you giving this document? So from this it is clear that the person board member is trying to use him for his own political gain. So that means कि ଆମେ ତ ସେଇ other opposition party member
सर
ସାଙ୍ଗରେ
ମତେ
further
ତ
ବେଶୀ କିଛି interaction
ସେଇପାଇଁ
କରିବୁ
ଫେକ୍ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା ଭିଡିଓଟା
ओके बट कथा होसी फेक वीडियो देले तांकर पॉइंट कोन किछि टाइम पे मे बी से माने फ्रेम कर दे बट फाइनली व्हेन इट इज क्लियर्ड देन द पॉइंट इज कि अगेन द पब्लिक सिंपैथी विल बी विथ द सीएम so usually why should they do this kind of thing see propaganda is something else एमितिया केतेटा फेक वीडियो करी कि काहा को टारगेट करा होची सीएम पीएम फेक वीडियो करी कि मेन के टारगेट करछ प्रोपागेंडा इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग बट फेक वीडियो एंटायर करी कि ब्राइब नहीं सपोज तापर तारो किछि चलिबो कोर्ट केस चलियो देयर हाँ ठीक है मतलब लिखि दे पारे गोटा पॉइंट लिखते पारे इनिशियली हियर यू कैन राइट कि वीडियो को हम नेक्स्ट ना वीडियो रो वेरिफिकेशन हम करिया कि मे बी इट माइट बी ट्राइंग टू फ्रेम द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी
ये सर
फ्रेम द सीएम
इन्वेस्टिगेशन
को
पर तो जଣା ही पड़छो ना माने
हाँ ठीक है तो सेटा भी हमें एटा एथरे भी कहल ना कि हम पुलिस पाखु जी पुलिस पाखु गले फायदा कोन कि नाउ व्हाटएवर दे आर डूइंग नाउ इट इज बिलीवेबल राइट सो पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन जहाँ हबो नाउ दैट इज अप टू देम आम पाखे जहाँ डॉक्यूमेंट थिला हमें देदेलु देन लिव इट टू पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन आम एमती इंटरनल कंप्लेंट्स कमिटी को गलु इंटरनली कंप्लेन कलु राइट सेमती आ गोटे से इंटरनल कंप्लेन रो किछि आउटकम न होला पर यू कैन गो टू द पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो नाउ इट इज अप टू देम टू डिसाइड बट opposition party member you should not take the offer in the sense कि you should not say कि for example take the offer माने कौन माने opposition party member exactly तुमको जो way रे use करेगा चाहते थे don't allow them to for example that is why I said this कि go to media this should not be the good case see the opposition party member will always want you to go to the media right media को गले बेसी कीचड़ फैलियो so for that reason you should not go directly to the media you should say कि okay I will take the evidence and I will provide the evidence to the police or internal complaint committee jaha bhi thibo provide kari but I will not go to the media myself or even you will provide this whistleblower act under the you can provide but you will not go to the media or publicly you will discuss because even you don't know what is the end game of the that member right ठीक है so this part has been done
सर आ
a
गोटे
lot I
जस्ट
think
छोटा डाउट था कि जो ऑप्शन अवेलेबल जति कुछ हमर क्वेश्चन पचारुछे तो से छोटा कि
your voice is
टोटली
breaking I
ऑब्वियस
think
कि हमें माने से कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन नहीं होनी माने
your
हेलो
voice was breaking a bit yeah
सर एबे सो
ନାଇଁ ତମର ନେଟୱାର୍କ ଇସ୍ୟୁ କିଛି ଅଛି ଆଇ ଥିଙ୍କ୍
हेलो
ଏତେ
सर एबे सो
ଭଲ ହଁ ଏବେ ଶୁଣା କୁହ ହଁ ହଁ ସେ
हेलो
ହଁ ହଁ now it's fine
हाँ सर सर ମୁଁ କହୁଥିଲି କି ଯେତେବେଳେ ମାନେ ଅପସନ ଆଭେଲେବଲ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ବିଟ୍ ପଚାରୁଛି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଅପସନ ଏମିତି ଅଛି କି ଟୋଟାଲି ମାନେ ଇଲଜିକାଲ ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆବସଲ୍ୟୁଟଲି ସେ ନବନି ହିଁ ସେଇ କେସରେ ତ ତାକୁ ଆମେ ମେନସନ କରିପାରିବୁ କି ମାନେ ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଏଇ କେସରେ ମାନେ ତାର ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ବି ଅପସନ ଏମିତି ହେଇପାରିବ କି ମାନେ ସେ ନିଜେ କିଛି କରିବନି ଆଉ ମାନେ ଯେ ଅପୋଜିସନ ମେମ୍ବର ଯିଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କୁ କହିବା ଯେ ଆପଣ ହିଁ ମାନେ କୋ କୋ ଫରୱାର୍ଡ ୱିଥ ଦିସ୍ ତ ଯୋଉଟା କି ଆମେ
ତାଙ୍କୁ ତ
ନବନି
କୁହାଗଲା
ବଟ୍ ଯଦି ଆମେ ମେନସନ ଏମିତି କରି
ହଁ ସିଏ ତ ସେ କାମଟା କରୁ ହିଁ ନାହାନ୍ତି ନା ସିଏ ତ ମନା କରିଥିଲେ that is why that is given na that is given in the problem itself he is not going forward because he wants to use this person Vinod right? So तार लिखियर point, I don't think there is any point.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so come to this part, key ethical issues involved in politicization of bureaucracy. What will be the ethical issues involved in? Acha, exactly, just let me check this again. In light of above case, comment upon the ethical issues that may arise due to the politicization of bureaucracy. Ethical issues that may arise due to the politicization of bureaucracy. Okay. So first write just one sentence. Key, what is the meaning of politicization of bureaucracy? So politicization of bureaucracy, this means key, when bureaucrats are increasingly acting on behalf of politicians instead of being impartial or neutral, whatever you can write, or with integrity. So just a definition we made on the spot, right? Don't have to remember any definition. So we first say, okay, this is the politicization of bureaucracy. Now, what are the ethical issues here involved? Now, the first will say, key, when there is politicization of bureaucracy, that means that the bureaucrats are biased, right? So when bureaucrats are biased, so this would lead to decision making which are unethical, right? And when they are leading to unethical decision making, this will lead to loss in public trust, right? This can be one flowchart, this can be one step. What are the other issues? Favoritism, right? You can say favoritism and nepotism, this could be one issue. This will defeat principle of natural justice, right? What else could be? Quality of public service delivery would be reduced, right? There would be no or reduction in level playing field for the people. Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
Okay.
you're audible.
So no level playing field, that means what? There would be gradually there would be monopoly of different players, right? For example, if you are giving favoritism to, you are showing favoritism to some parties, then gradually they will become monopoly, right? And this is also happening in Indian economy right now. You know that a few people have grabbed most of the economic space. What else could be the how कौन issue आ रही? अच्छा, spoils system gradually create how? Spoil system means whichever political party is coming to power, now they are appointing their people, their loyal people, right? In post which is supposed to be neutral. So this is known as spoil system. Then bureaucratic integrity, अच्छा এটা मैं mention करें कि bureaucratic integrity, नहीं, चलो. Bureaucratic integrity, for example, this will be compromised, right? Here you can mention, for example, second ARC recommendation रे कौन कौन अच्छी चित्रे बहुत सारा जो virtues अच्छी और values of civil servants. This includes one aspect, one is integrity, honesty is there, right? So these will be impacted. What else? What other ethical issues?
Sir,
Any other
trust
ethical
is
issues? Trust हमें लिख ले, loss in public trust in democratic processes and institutions. You can write, right? What else? Anything else you can remember?
स्टील फ्रेम रू प्लास्टिक फ्रेम ହେଇଯିବ।
Very good. सेटा conclusion ने मैं लिख परिया एई भला किछि पॉजिटिव वर्डेड जिंस को हमें ताको पॉजिटिव रे टर्न करिया। सो हमें कहया कि conclusion ने हम कोन कहया, you write कि So this shows the need to convert Indian bureaucracy from the current plastic frame to the steel frame again, right? Underline the steel frame. So this is a positive kind of wording, so this will add value to your answer. Now what is the point jaha mane pode likhi do, enough, we have generated enough points, no issues. Okay, so these are the ethical issues involved. So let's move on to the next ethical dilemma. Okay, what is it saying? That you have been appointed, as additional director general ADG of Central Public Works Department, PWD, chief architect of your division, so CA, who is to retire in 6 months, is passionately working on a very important project. So this will earn him a lasting reputation for the rest of his life. Now a new lady architect, Seema, who is trained at Manchester School of Architecture, joined as a senior architect, okay, in your division. So Seema then made some suggestions which will add value to your project, and it will also reduce the completion time. So this has made the chief architect insecure, and he is constantly worried that all the credit will go to her. So now the chief architect he adopted a passive aggressive behavior towards her and has become disrespectful to her. So he is leaving no chance of humiliating her. So he is humiliating her, correcting her in front of other colleagues, raising his voice. Okay. So this continuous harassment has resulted in her losing confidence and self-esteem. So she is tense, anxious, and stressed. So he has a long tenure in office, has a vast experience. Now you are aware of her academic credentials and career record, but you fear that this harassment will result in compromising her much needed contribution in this important project, and it will also adversely impact her emotional well-being. It will compromise her contribution as well as it will affect her also. And you are also able to know that she is contemplating tendering her resignation. Sima Kochi resign kari chali. So now what are the ethical issues involved in this case, and what are the options available to you, and to complete the project as well as retain Sima, and what will be your response to Sima's predicament, and what are the measures you are going to take to prevent such occurrences from happening in your organization. Means long term measures they are asking what you are going to do. Let's take 5 minutes break, then we'll continue. Just read this one and we'll continue. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ठीक है. So what were we discussing? Any doubts so far? I think let me share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ठीक है. तो screen share कीजिए. So let's come to this dilemma. So Seema is being harassed at her workplace. So this is the issue, and the other issue is that the chief architect, he is also a respected person in general. He has contributed a lot to the organization, and he wants to retire with a good reputation, right? That is his objective. And what are you going to do to strike balance? So we can simply introduce as कौन कोई क्या हमने किया कि this case study pertains to an ethical dilemma related to what? What is some key words that we are going to
Workplace.
write? Let us say workplace harassment. ठीक है. So this is our simple definition. Now, what are the ethical issues involved?
Sir,
Again,
ଗୋଟେ
workplace
ହେଇପାରିବ କି
harassment.
equal treatment to every employee versus hurting the sentiment of a senior employee. ମାନେ
हाँ,
ସେମିତି
ताको हम इम्ते लिख परिया organizational hierarchy versus equality in treatment of all employees, right? Yes, you can write one point. ଭଲ language ରେ ଟିକେ ଲେଖିଲେ ହେଇଯିବ ଗୋଟେ point ହେଇଯିବ. But this is not the main issue. Main issue is the harassment itself, right? First one you should write about this workplace harassment versus what else should be there versus senior was a chief architect कौन अछंती retire in 6 months passionate working and lasting reputation. Okay, we can write about this versus reputation of senior officer, right? Here you can explain a bit what is the line now लिख करियो कि at one end she is being harassed at her workplace. On the other hand, we are also worried about the reputation of the senior officer who is going to retire in a few months, right? Then what else can we write? Similar point you can write ki right to safe working condition for women employees, right? This can be one issue. And what can be another issue?
merit versus seniority ଏମିତି ହେଇପାରିବ merit versus
Very good,
seniority.
excellent. Yes, it can be. This is a very good point. So seniority basis रे chief architect अछंती, merit basis रे Seema is there who is doing good work, right? You can write certainly merit versus seniority. This is also a standard debate ki which one we should promote, right? Then what else can be there? Humiliation hala, adverse compromising
Sir.
her advance. Acha, project completion.
Sir.
Yes.
Decent
Yes,
work culture versus project completion.
very good. Work culture, this includes work ethics, you can say, versus project completion. Very good, this is an excellent point. So this is deadline based, right? So relative contribution in the organization of newcomer versus senior officer or member, right? Here also, what is the relative contribution? 6th point is work culture versus project completion, right? One point we can also write about justice itself, right? So justice to, at one point we want to ensure justice to Sima. On the other hand, we also want to ensure that organizational reputation should be there, right? So organizational reputation versus ensuring justice to Sima, right? So justice to the individual. Can we write anything with Niti versus Nyaya here? Nyaya would be chalo Sima part. Niti part should be nahi. Niti versus Nyaya एते एमती हबन. नीति भी तो एथे किछ नाइट था नीति भी दुर्नीति अछि. So नीति एथे कोन लिखिया हम. Okay. So
सर
these
एठी
are
मिडिल
broadly.
पाथ दरकार हबो
हाँ सेटा हमें देखिया था अपने next options available ले देखिया. Okay. So let's come to this point. Yes, anyone else is suggesting something?
Sir, Seema ro mental health issue.
Okay, very good. Yes. Mental health of Seema versus कौन ही परिवार. Ensuring, it is our duty to ensuring mental health of employees, right? All employees. So yes, this can be one point, but how is this an ethical issue? So what is this conflicting with? Ensuring mental health of employees. Think any other thing if it is conflicting with. Ki why are we not able to ensure her mental health? Because harassment. Point you have written enough points. Now think about this part. This is the solution part. What are the options available to you to complete the project as well as to retain Sima? So that means from the question itself, you have been given both of these things. Okay, project completion is one first thing, plus retaining talent Sima. So tell me what can we do to ensure both of these? So can we divide this into two things? Ki what are we going to do for this thing? What are we going to do to ensure to retain the talent? So project completion by hame kon kariya? Project will keep on moving ahead as it is, right? And we will try to ensure group cohesion, right? This is important for project completion. How are we going to ensure group cohesion? For example, you can say ki we will have group discussion or meetings in which there will be role clarity. Is this not one of the reasons why there is so much issue? Now, if the chief architect had been told, ki, what is your role is only to guide the newcomers, right? Your role is only to ensure supervision. Eta hochi main tomorrow role, right? Let the newcomers work hard, but you don't need to yell at them, scold them. Okay. So the role clarity specifically for the chief architect, he has not been told that this is not your role. Although we know that he understands that, still he is violating that, right? But when there is a dynamic group meeting and you are everyone is telling you need to stop, then it will create a sort of peer pressure, and this will create a sort of this group demand for the chief architect to behave himself, right? This is one part. How else can we ensure group cohesion?
सर आउ गोटे एमती हो कि सोशल गैदरिंग्स रे तो तो से माने मीट करि परिबे ताकर जदि किछि मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग अछि तो तो सेटा दूर होई परिबो.
हाँ हाँ, सो ग्रुप कोहेजन अंडर रे भी हे पाइयो कि आमे गोटे एमिकेबल सिचुएशन में we will try to do what, by the way, yes, this can be a solution.
सर ऑफिस
You can
पार्टी
do
माने जोते
mediation. A term would lekho mediation and conciliation. You can try for that in an amicable situation, है ना? Third party intervention through it, right? For example, some other ये third party की है वो some other senior member, right? Some other senior professional. Yes, someone else was saying something. Yes, ଆଉ କିଏ କହୁଥିଲେ?
Sir, group रे first तो हमें समस्तଙ୍କର point of view सुनिबा कथा, be a good listener. जदियो सीमांक suggestion value add करूनी, but
Right.
completion time टा कमेई दउची.
Right. So what should we do? What are you suggesting? That we should give option for the chief architect also to keep his view. Is
Yes,
this what
sir.
you are saying?
Hmm.
Okay, we can say कि give platform to both chief architect and Sima to keep their sides, right? ठीक है.
सर हमें
ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ
अ,
open discussion ଗୋଟେ ହେଇପାରିବ. Yes.
सर ଆମେ both को persuade କରିପାରିବା କି ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଗୋଟେ single project ପାଇଁ କାମ କରୁଛୁ ତ ଯଦି project successful ହେଲେ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ equally credit ରହିବ ତ ସେଇ ଯୋଉ credit वाला
Very good.
ଏଟା ରହୁଛି ସେଟା insecurity ଟା କମିଗଲେ ଏଇ conflict ବି କମିଯିବ.
Acha, from this, can you tell me? We had discussed this in, I think, attitude class. We had discussed. Ki suppose there are two groups or even two people, so there is some kind of negative attitude between them. How can we ameliorate that kind of attitude? What is the solution for that? Do you remember? Robert's cave experiment. Remember this? From this, can you write some points? This is why I keep on saying ki section A jodi bhalo se bujhiyola. Actually, section A, if you understand, this is the 90% of the syllabus. Section B is only the application of these concepts, right? This is only the 10%. If you are able to understand this well, you can apply this in section B. And you tell me, although mana kone kichi writing techniques be required once you understand, but I'm techniques who discuss further. Now just use these things. Now you tell me what is that thing that we had discussed. Do you remember
ସେ
this
ଯୋଉ
superordinate?
ପଜଲର
Yes,
ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ପାର୍ଟ ଦି ଜଣଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ସେୟାର କଲା ପରେ ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଆସିଯିବ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ
very good,
ଦି ଜଣଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ ରହିବ.
very good. The first part ta thila superordinate goal creation for the team, right? Which is the superordinate goal? That is our deadline complete kariye project completion. So we'll say that this is our main goal, right? And the second part is what you are talking about is the classroom puzzle method, right? Puzzle method. Aronson had said this. So we'll provide them different pieces of puzzle. That means all contribution, ସମସ୍ତର contribution require କରିବା ଆମେ to solve the issue, right? To solve the issue ମାନେ complete the project. These are the terms we are going to write. Superordinate goal creation for the team ଆମେ କରିବା and ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ motivate କରିବା to move to work together. Okay. Now come to this part, retaining talent or सीमा को हमें retain କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆମେ कौन कौन करते हैं. अच्छा, first of all tell me this part, no one has said this in itself. कि is this not important to ensure justice to सीमा? Has there not been injustice done to her? ଆମେ ଏଗୁଡ଼ା future ରେ କଣ କଣ କରିବା ବୋଲି କହୁଛେ, past ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷଟା ହେଇଯାଇଛି, ଗୋଟେ ଖରାପ ଜିନିଷ ହେଇଛି, ତାକୁ ଆମେ consider ଆଉ କରିବାନି. And why will सीमा stay in your organization or any such maybe young talent come into your organization if they
Yes,
see
sir,
that in the
ଗୋଟେ
past such thing has happened, right?
yes, sir, ଗୋଟେ
So
internal complaint mechanism establish କରିପାରିବେ.
yes, so we have to ensure justice to सीमा or justice to any other person who has faced this kind of issue, right? So ଆମେ internal complaints committee form କରିକି ସେଥିରେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ inquiry କରିବା. So inquiry kale jaha report asibo on the findings, based on findings we can even take some action also. So don't think ki this is this is difficult or something. Point hochi ki dekho amar duita ko objective hochi project completion and retaining talent, but katha hochi inquiry chalu thau, inquiry tha bata chalu, inquiry to time lagibo na. By the time we are mane inquiry finding aschi, by the time maybe we will be able to complete our project, but let the inquiry be there so that there can be some action taken. For example, maybe see action माने को सबले suspension होगा. It's not as if the chief architect will be suspended. It might also be he might be even reprimanded. Means the person will be said कि what you have done is wrong. मतलब जोटा कहा जाए कि भद्रा भाषा रे गाली दवा, right? तांकर official record रे जिनसटा रहियो, right? Now the point is he is worried about his reputation. So if the official record rahibo, then it is also punishment to this person, right? So that much punishment is enough. No one is saying that this person is going to jail, and he is not going to jail. Okay, this is not a criminal. That kind of an offense, he is going to jail. But there should be some action taken so that such in future, such kind of talent will stay in your organization, right? Otherwise, ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ କଥା ହେବେ ନା, organization ର ବହୁତ bad work culture ଅଛି, right? Yes, from that I remembered work culture विषୟରେ we can write. Improve work culture को केमती हमें improve କରିପାରିବା. Here you can
Sir,
write about
sensitivity training.
excellent gender sensitivity training program, right? You can also write about diversity training program, है ना. Diversity training program माने different background को जो लोग माने आसचंती तांको प्रति हमें sensitize करिया. This is specific to female gender. तांको प्रति हमें टी sensitive हो. What else is there? Work culture को केमते हमें improve करिया. Mutual respect. Okay. Egalitarian approach हमें उधर अच्छा ये सब जिनसे बहुत किसी हला because there was a rigid hierarchy. So हमें कोटे egalitarian system यदि create करता है ताले maybe इतने सारे जिनसे ही ना करना. For example, it should be organization should be merit based instead of seniority based. Right. This is you can argue this also seniority based not merit based हमारा. Right. What else is there? Project completion part है गला retaining talent को हमें कौन आप कर करिया. आगो तो दूसरा point यदि if you can remember then if you can recall then it is good.
सर
अच्छा
आउ
आउट
गोटे
पॉइंट लॉन्ग टर्म.
सर आउ गोटे जस्ट माने मु जानि एटा केते रिलेवेंट कि नै माने हम एमती सीमा को तो कन्विंस एमती करि परिया कि एटा जे सीनियर आर्किटेक्ट को लास्ट प्रोजेक्ट आ तुमको फ्यूचर रे बहुत चांस मिलिबो तुमको निजो क्रेडिट नेहा पे एंड साइन करिया पे माने एमती किछि
Okay.
माने मु जानि मे बी
Okay,
I'm asking
let
her
us
to
ask.
compromise.
Okay, so let's see. This is critical thinking ability. Let's ask others. What others think? Ki is this a good step or not? Good measure. What others think? Please tell me.
No,
Sir,
sir, it's not a
ଗୋଟେ
good
ମାନେ
measure because like it will hamper like the organizational behavior, जहाँ personal like personal ambition पे and organizational goal like project completion, ये project quality को हमें alter करी परिवानी.
Okay, this is a good counter argument. Yes, someone else was saying something.
फ्यूचर रे सीमा मैडम भी जिंस करिवे तांकर सबऑर्डिनेट का सहित.
Okay, you are saying कि Simha will also do the same thing. Excellent point. See, देखो बहुत सारे जिनसे मुझे मो माइंड को आसे नहीं तो you tell me even I'm very happy कि चलो so many dimensions are being created. Correct thing. Suppose we are asking कि चलो सीमा को हम कहे सीमा तुम गोटे काम करो compromise कर दियो. एबे सीमा मन रे से रागटा रहियो कि मो संगे injustice ହେଇची. तो फ्यूचर रे सपोज रीमा आसले ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ना सीमा रीमा ऊपर चढ़ी राइट और संतोष ऊपर चढ़े व्हाटएवर इज हैपनिंग. The point is कि when these person will complain सीमा will say कि देखो मु मो टाइम रे तो एमतिया माने compromise करथि. So why should you not compromise? Consider this a parallel to what happens with Indian families, right? Usually जब सास भी कभी बहू थी तो सास is frustrated because when she was bahu she was tortured. Now when her bahu comes to her house she is also angry कि why should this new young girl why should she have all the fun. Now I am also going to torture her. Why? Because I was tortured when I was young. So এটা ଗୋଟେ vicious cycle ହେଇଯିବନି. This will be a vicious cycle. Secondly, this is also going to create a moral hazard. Now when you are saying कि if we are compromise it, that means others will also see कि चलो when that means what when the project is ଗୋଟେ project ର deadline ଯେତେବେଳେ ଅଛି ସେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କିଛି ବି କରିପାରିବା because ଆମକୁ ଆଉ project deadline meet କରିବାକୁ compromise କରିଦିଅ. So ଏବେ ତୁମେ ତାପରେ sexual harassment ବି ହବ କିଏ କାହାକୁ କଣ ନାହିଁ କଣ କହିବ ତାପରେ ସେମାନେ କହିବେ ନାଇଁ ତୁମେ ଚୁପ ବସ project complete ହେଇଯାଉ ତାପରେ ଦେଖିବା ଆମେ ଯାହା. This will set a very dangerous precedent. I think, but a bad precedent set up. So I don't think this is a good solution that you can write that we should ask Sima to compromise. I personally I feel कि we should not at all ask Sima to compromise. Okay, rather what we can do कि on the other hand we should rather confront chief architect. हमें chief architect अच्छा तुम्हें chief architect को point of view ରୁ भाब सी एते सब काम करूଛନ୍ତି काहेकि तांको हमें confront କରିବା କଥା नୁହଁ हमें कहया
Yes,
if you
sir.
are worried about your reputation और तुम तो ऑलरेडी भल रेपुटेशन अच्छी ए फाइनल प्रोजेक्ट रे गोटे तुम 100% काम करी ना बोली तुम कौन रेपुटेशन खराब हो किसी खराब होनी आगु जहाँ भल काम कर फॉर दैट यू विल बी रिमेम्बर्ड. नाउ द सेकंड इज कि जस्ट टू maybe preserve what you think is your reputation. If you are misbehaving with someone, how is this going to enhance your reputation? This is not going to enhance na. We should this point also we can write. By the way हमें एमती बहुत सारा जगह परसुएसन कथा आलु ना हमें गोटे पॉइंट रे एठी परसुएसन हमें काहा करिया हमें सीमा को परसुएट करियानी. Let us try to persuade chief architect. But then the difference with this and the previous case study देखो previous case study रे भी जने someone was saying कि आमे काहे कि से जो corrupt लोको को जाई कि confront न करू right chairman कथा से गोटे criminal offense गोटे huge offense ହେଇଥିଲା. Now एठी सेटा criminal offense I don't think it is right now criminal offense right. Sexual harassment we know it is just harassment at workplace right. So he is just scolding her, he is raising his voice, right? So still there is some hope कि he will be reformed and सेमतिया एते बेसी माने it is not a heinous crime, right? So now we can go and we can try to persuade the person, to persuade the chief architect. We will say कि you behave well with others, ଯଦି misbehave କରିବ then you will be punished, right? In
सर
this case we
एमितिरे
can
तांका
persuade.
रेपुटेशन खराब ହେଲା ନା ସେ ଗୋଟେ
हाँ हाँ
ସେ सीमा
କେମିତି
को
ସେଇଟା ବି ଆମେ କହେ,
harass କଲେ
right? We can say कि why
ସୋସାଲ
did you do this?
ସେ ସୀମାକୁ ଏସ୍ୟୁରାନ୍ସ ଦେବା କି ଏମିତି ଜିନିଷ ଫର୍ଦର ତା ସହିତ ହବନି ଆଉ ସେ ଡେଡିକେଟେଡଲି କାମ କରିବ
Excellent.
ଆଚ୍ଛା
Assurance to
ଆଉ
सीमा, no one remembered this point. ଆମେ सीमा को भी assurance ର ବି କିଛି value ଅଛି ନା, ଏଟା କିଏ ଦବ by the way, ଏଟା organizational assurance ହବ, right? right, organizational assurance ହବ. For example organization ଏଟା କେମିତି କରିବ, ଗୋଟେ advisory ଜାରି କରିବ, advisory or memo ଗୋଟେ ଜାରି କରାହବ कि କେମିତି ଆମର interpersonal relation କେମିତି ହବା କଥା, work relations କେମିତି ହବା କଥା. Here it will be said कि no one can misbehave with other employees. Yes, you are saying something else, I interrupted you, please continue.
ସାର୍ ସେଇଟା ହିଁ କହୁଥିଲି କି ସୀମାକୁ ଏସ୍ୟୁର କରାଯିବ ଆଉ ଯିଏ ଚିଫ୍ ଆର୍କିଟେକ୍ଚର ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ଇନସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟିଟା ଦୂର କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆଗେ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବା, ନହେଲେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଟିକେ କନଫ୍ରଣ୍ଟ କରାକିନା କାମଟାକୁ କରିବାର ଅଛି ୱିଥ୍ ବାଲାନ୍ସିଂ ବୋଥ୍ ବିକଜ ବୋଥ୍
Right.
ଆର୍ ଏଥିକ୍ସ ଫର୍ ଦ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ହ୍ୱାଇ।
Then finally ସେଇଟା ମୁଁ କହୁଥିଲି finally ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ conclusion ଏମିତି ଲେଖିବା, conclusion ଏମିତି ଲେଖିବା କି we should try to bring together all group members, right, towards a common or shared bigger goal, right? So this will ensure कि there is justice as well as we are project completion भी ଅଛି. So what a positive way forward देगी we can write this, right? By the way यार जो second part टा थिला एथिरे भी long term solution भी maximum एई भलिया ही होबो, इटे भी कोटा कहैतला what would be the response to Sima's predicament, what measures would you institute to prevent such occurrences. Now here you can write some maybe some, चलो एटा हम conclusion एठी लिखि देले, some specific, can you tell me some specific long term measures कोन निया जी परिवे एथिरे, एथिरे these are all organizational measures, right? Organizational steps जहाँ जहाँ नवा, for example we are talking about sensitivity training, right? We are talking about diversity training, we are talking about even Sima को भी हमें we can show her assertiveness training, right? Similarly work culture related हमें जहाँ work culture and work ethic, how will this be improved? For example we are talking about different memo, we are talking about internal complaints committee, है ना? Same points we are going to
सर
write further
फीडबैक
to improve.
मेकानिज्म भी ହେଇପାରିବ।
Very good, excellent feedback mechanism. For example you can write, you can give an example of she box, एमती गोटे थिला जे anonymous complaint box गोटे अछि, right? Similarly we can create anonymous complaint box जो थरे कि एई भला सीमा भला पर्सन जो माने कि डरी होउछन कि कंप्लेंट आनियो, so they can file anonymously and एटा को गोटे box करके भी value addition you can write, right? So these are some of the long term measures. In general also you can say कि for example देखा आमे एमती मनर भी केते भला आंसर लिखिया, suppose citizens charter, now this is more related to governance, right? What we are going to add to this point is कि in line of citizens charter we are going to bring in an employees charter. देखो एगुडा को भी बही रे कोठरे भी नाही, तमे सब मन निजर क्रिएटिविटी निजर कॉन्फिडेंस लिखियो, तो ए एम्प्लॉइज चार्टर कोन हबो, हाउ टू बिहेव टुवर्ड्स अदर एम्प्लॉइज, राइट? सो दीज आर योर ओन सजेशंस ना, सजेशन मागाइज न सजेशन दोछ, असुविधा कोन, राइट इट पूरा बोल्डली लिखी ताको बॉक्स कर दे, सो दीज विल ऐड वैल्यू टू योर आंसर, ओके? ओके ठीक है, आई थिंक वी हैव discussed this case study enough. Let's come to the last case study of the day. This is a case study related to okay, so you hold a responsible position in a ministry in the government. Okay, I remember this is a bullying wala case study. So one day in the morning you receive a call from your school of your 11-year-old son that you are required to come and meet the principal. So you went to the school and you find your son in the principal's office. कौन issue होती ना principal कहले कि तुम्हारा son कौन होची wandering aimlessly in the ground and आपन को पुओ कौन होची class को attend करू नहीं and से कौन करूची he has become a loner and he is not responding to questions in the class, unable to perform well in the football trials, blah blah, means somehow he is off. So what is the reason? So you try to find out the reasons for your son's behavior. So then your son tells that some children have been making fun of him in the class as well as in the WhatsApp group of the students by calling him stunted, duh, and a frog. Basically, so insult. Okay. So now he tells you the names of a few children who are the main culprits, but pleads with you to let the matter rest. तो पुओ कहले कि देखो मते एमती क्लास रे चिडौछन्ती हैरान करछन्ती, but don't take any action. But then you went to the school स्पोर्टिंग इवेंट को तुम नेक्स्ट दिन गला तुम कलीग कर सन तुमको देखेले कौन गोटे वीडियो इन व्हिच स्टूडेंट्स हैव कैरिकेचर्ड योर सन, राइट, and he also points out to the perpetrators who are sitting in the stands. So you are walking past them with your son and you are going home. Then later on next day तुम सोशल मीडिया रे देखलो से सेम वीडियो गोटे जहा को तुम ऊपर तुम पुओ ऊपर तुम वाइफ ऊपर गोटे कैरिकेचर हिची तुमको तुम से चली जाउतला तार वीडियो करके भी समान ताको मजाक उड़ौछन. And in that video, it is being said that you are engaging in physical bullying of children in the sports field. Okay. Ulta तुम ऊपर सेटा allegation आसी. And this video has become viral on social media. Then your friends and colleagues started calling you to find out the details. And one of your juniors also advised you to make a counter video giving the background and explaining that nothing had happened on the field. So what a counter video करिया तुमको advice दिया. तापर तुम भी वीडियो गोटा बने देलो. In turn you posted a video in which you have captured during the sporting event, identifying the likely perpetrators. Okay, remember this term. Who were responsible for your son's predicament. Now you have also narrated what has actually happened in the field. So means you are giving your own justifications. Okay, this is what had happened, and you are making attempts to bring out the adverse effects of misuse of social media. Okay. Now, based on the above case study, discuss the ethical issues involved in the use of social media and discuss the pros and cons of using social media by you to put across the facts to counter the fake propaganda against your family. ठीक अछि. So basically जो bullying होची ता ऊपर हमें ଗୋଟେ case study अछि. So how are we going to introduce it? So again this is a case study pertaining to a ethical dilemma related to what? Bullying and misuse of social media, right? Very simple. Then what are the ethical issues involved? Tell me.
सर एथरे गोटे इश्यू इन्वॉल्व होला कि सोशल मीडिया ट्रायल वर्सेस गोइंग थ्रू द
Excellent.
एक्चुअल प्रोसेस.
Social media trial versus चलो वर्सेस सुनो सिंपल सोशल मीडिया रे भी ही परियो, बट इफ यू वांट टू राइट वर्सेस आल्सो यू कैन राइट versus
प्रोसीजरल
court of law.
एथिक्स.
Procedural ethics also you can write. You can also write that is court of law को हमें नहीं किया. Excellent point. Social media trial. What does this mean? That means कि social media itself, in the media trial, in the social media itself, that is becoming the the judge and jury, right? It is giving verdict itself without actually going through the merits of the case, right? What else are the ethical issues involved?
सर से स्कूल अथॉरिटी को भी मैंने इन्फॉर्म करि परते आगु.
Yes. So अच्छा सेटा परे आसिया हमें bullying विषय रे लिखिया कि bullying of children versus safety in school, right? An ethical issue involved कि bullying of children एठी होची, right? Third होची in general भी misuse of cyber. In general will say कि misuse of media एथिरे दुइटा को जिंस होची. गोटे होची कि cyber bullying, second is कि propaganda and fake information or misinformation, right? And here also you can write कि केमती misinformation campaign ही कि it is also leading to character assassination, right? Character assassination of the of you, your family, right? So your family is being targeted. What else are the ethical issues involved?
school value
Very good. Role of school, let him लिखिए. Role of school, so they are unable to stop these kind of activities versus role of हम कोई परेगा guardians or parents, right? For example, we'll say कि if school is unable to stop it, those parents of those children, they should also have taken some action. So they are not there. Maybe they are oblivious to what is happening. So they should also take some responsibility. They don't understand what their children are doing, right? How can ethical issues ରହିପାରିବ?
sir yearly step by the parent ମାନେ
Early steps by the
ଜାଣିଲେ କି ସେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଜାଣିଲେ
okay.
ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ତାଙ୍କ ପୁଅଙ୍କୁ ବୁଲିଂ ହଉଛି ସେତେବେଳେ ସେ ତାଙ୍କ ପୁଅ କଥା ଶୁଣିକି ଚୁପ ରହିଗଲେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଷ୍ଟେପ ନେଇଥିଲେ ଏତେ ବର୍ଷ ହେଇନଥାନ୍ତା
Okay. So ୟାକୁ ଆମେ କଣ କହିପାରିବା? Preventive action, we can say yes. क्या solution
sir
लिखी
ଗୋଟେ
दवा.
ସ୍କୁଲ
Ethical issues.
ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନ ର ମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ହେଲ୍ଥ ବିଷୟରେ ବି ଲେଖି ହବ
Very good, excellent. We can write about yes. Lack of care about mental health of school-going children, right? Yes, certainly. It is a very excellent point. Mental health को बहुत seriously लिया जाए. Usually we are all always worried about academic achievements, right? ये सब जिनसे विषय रे हमें worried हो चु, but mental health विषय रे बेसिक लोग को worried नहीं होते कि ताको seriously भी नहीं होते, right? So yes, this part you can write कि ये जो lack of seriousness on part of the school to understand the severity of the case, right? Here also you can write about that lack of seriousness. You are unable to understand how serious this is. What else can be ethical issues?
Sir, misuse of free speech.
हाँ, misuse of social media is you can write कि abuse of free speech platforms, right? So you can even say कि free speech is being turning into hate speech. तो कहीं तरह political sense रे hate speech को use करा है नहीं, otherwise don't get कि political science रे hate speech रा meaning होची वाला inciting some people, so ठीक है incite करा हो, but हमें सही way रहते technical हवा नहीं because GS4 paper, so it is okay, you can write free speech. So here free speech is being converted into hate speech. Yes, you can certainly write. What else can we write? Acha, is there, let me ask you another question. When the person was advised to make a counter video, he also went and made a counter video. Is there any issue related to this or not?
yes
Tell
sir
me.
ସେ immediately reactive ହେଇକି counter video କରିବାର ନଥିଲା ସେଟା ବି ଗୋଟେ issue ରେ ଆସିପାରେ
Counter video କରିବାରେ ethical issue କଣ ଅଛି? You tell me.
ମାନେ ସେ legal way ରେ ନ ଯାଇକି ସେ ସେଇ bullying type କାମ adopt କଲେ କରିବା ପାଇଁ
Okay,
Same
he
ଜିନିଷ
is
ସେ ବି
not bullying
କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ
although. Okay.
yeah.
The issue होची कि going
ସେମିତି କିଛି
public.
ଗୋଟେ define କରିପାରୁନି
Okay, yes, I can
government
understand.
official
immaturely ସେଟା କଲେ
ministry ରେ ତ ମିନିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିରେ ଥାଇକି ବି ସେ ହଠାତ୍ କି ଚାଲି ଆସିଲେ ସୋସିଆଲ ମିଡିଆକୁ ଆଉ ଏସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଏକାଥରେ ଏକ୍ସପୋଜ କରିଦେଲେ ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରକାର ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ମେ ବି ହେଇପାରେ
Very good. So we'll say कि going public without exhausting, yes, exhausting other courses of action, other remedies, right? Immediately you are going to the public without exhausting other remedies. So this is one ethical. See, ये सब गुड़ाको गोटे single point भी हमें कर पारी. Another point you forgot to understand. This is also about doxing. Can you tell me what this means? Doxing means revealing identity, address, and other personal information of people on social media or internet, right? Now see, even if what they were doing was wrong, so when you are making a video in which you are identifying the perpetrators, so now you are doing what? Maybe some other people will get angry and they will target these people. These bullies will also be targeted. Now you will say कि sir bully को target करा तो भलो कथा से तो खराब काम करते But now the point is, you are providing some people to take the law into their own hands, right? So when you are promoting people to take the law into their own hands, now this is an irresponsible behavior. This is an irresponsible behavior, right? Suppose कौन है तुम्हारे वीडियो देखी कि तुम्हारा फ्रेंड की एक्साइटेड है कि और रागी की जाएगी से बुल्ली मान को जाएगी बाड़े दल. Suppose the harm then done to the those bullies is more than what harm has been done to your child. Suppose ताका विदुर कार किसी bleeding है वाला hospitalized है वाला. Now will you be able to live with yourself due to this kind of action? So that is the issue. So doxing can be an issue, ethical issue. He should not have made, first of all, he should not have made the video itself without exhausting all other remedies. Means he should have first gone to the police, or he should have gone to the school, informed them everything, and asked them to take action. If they are not taking any action, he should have approached then the directly the maybe the guardians of the other children, right? कि ଆପଣ ପିଲାମାନେ ଏମିତିଆ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି. Suppose they are even after that it is not being addressed, then he should have gone to the police. He should not have in any cost, in my opinion, made another video and informed, I mean identified these people ki these people are bullying my kids, right? Later on we'll go and see ki when he was trying to justify, he was keeping his own side of the story, whether that is justified or not. We can even say ki chalo that is justified, but this part is not justified, right? So counter video actually କରିବାର ନଥିଲା. So we'll get to that. Any other ethical issues that you can think of?
Sir, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ
Tell me.
sir ସେ ଛୁଆ ଉପରେ ପିୟର ପ୍ରେସର ବି ଅଛି. ସେ କହିଛି ନା ସେ ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟିଫାଇ କରିଛି ବଟ୍ କିଛି ଆକ୍ସନ ନ ନେବାକୁ ବି ତା ବାପାଙ୍କୁ କହିଛି.
Right. So you are exposing your child to repercussions, है to further more consequences, right? We can also say कि एथिरे आउरी further bullying ही पर वीडियो द्वारा एंड होची भी से वीडियो दा कलर से जिनसा मैटर टा एस्केलेट कला ना एस्केलेशन ऑफ मैटर ही गला करेक्ट वे रे न है कि एस्केलेशन ऑफ मैटर तो एमती भी ही था बट करेक्ट वे रे न है कि रॉन्ग वे रे एस्केलेशन ना. So that is the issue, right? Few other points you can add, no problem. But now let's come to this part to discuss the pros and cons of using social media by you to put across the facts to counter the fake propaganda against your family. Now come to this part, key evaluation of my actions. Or here if you don't want to write my, you can also write the protagonist's action. Protagonist mane hochi the main person in a story, right? So here it is you. So you can write this way also, you can also write evaluation of the protagonist's action, right? So suppose you are saying ki pros and cons they are asking. So tell me ki when you made that video, what could be the pros? First and foremost,
pros is that so everyone knows what is the truth. Actually कौन ହେଇଥିଲା ସେଟା ସମସ୍ତେ ଜାଣିତେ ପାଇଲେ pros ରେ ସେଟା ଯିବ ବୋଧେ.
yes, keeping your side of the story, your mane my side of the story. So this means ki this will help to counter the propaganda to some effect at least. Counter the propaganda at least to some effect, right? What else? What could be other positive things? Putting the bullies under pressure, right? So
Sir,
if
it
they
is
are
the
being,
fastest way.
yes, fastest way to,
Fastest way to go, like to reach public or something, to reach the solution.
let's say कि public sympathy आमे generate करूँ, right? Public sympathy generate कले सेटा भी गोटे pressure वाले काम करें, right? What else? Propaganda counter ही गला. What else गला? Maybe some sort of mental support to your child, right? Although on the other hand it may also backfire, but mental support to my child and family, right? What else can be there? How कौन फायदा है? Okay, then come to this part. Okay, what are the cons? We know all the cons. What is the main issue? It's not as per established procedure, no? Established protocol eta nuho. So this is against procedural ethics. प्रोसीजरल एथिक्स विल नॉट से कि ये भलिया तुम वीडियो बाहर कर, राइट। सेकंड पार्ट हला जो डॉक्सिंग हला ता द्वारा भी सेफ्टी ऑफ अदर किड्स दिस इज बीइंग थ्रेटेन्ड, राइट। थर्ड पॉइंट इज कि
सर मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यू हम निज चाइल्ड बिकॉज सोशल मीडिया रे से ह्यूमिलेटिंग वीडियोटा रही जीवो,
right, mental health of child and family, other family members also, okay, so this will worsen actually, right. Fourth, what else are the issues?
सर स्कूल रेपुटेशन भी खराब हो।
ओके, स्कूल रेपुटेशन तो ठीक अच्छे, हाँ हाँ ठीक है, स्कूल रेपुटेशन भी खराब हो, ओके, दिस इज ड्यू टू व्हाट, ड्यू टू एस्केलेशन ऑफ मैटर, राइट, एस्केलेशन ऑफ द मैटर, स्कूल रेपुटेशन खराब हो। व्हाट एल्स? फ्यूचर लीगल इम्प्लिकेशन सही पारे, देखो से सेम किड्स माने जहाँ जो से बुलिस माने थिले ସେମାନେ କଣ କରିବେ, ଏବେ ତମ ଉପରେ ଏଫଆଇଆର ଉଲ୍ଟା ଲଞ୍ଚ କରିବେ କି ଇଏ ପ୍ରୋପାଗାଣ୍ଡା କରୁଛି ଆମ अगेंस्ट, so that will be a further complaint against you। तो ଏଭଳିଆ blindly actually କରିବା କଥା ନୁହେଁ, immediately କାହାର suggestion ନେଇକି immediately you should not react, right? Any other pros and cons that you can remember?
Sir, setting wrong precedents, being in a responsible position.
Yes, excellent। तो ଏଟା ଗୋଟେ moral hazard ବୋଲି ବି କାମ କରେ, right? So this will create a moral hazard because it will set a bad precedent, right? देखो एटा मैटर टाକୁ କିଛି ସଲ୍ଭ କରିବନି, rather मैटर टाକୁ ଆହୁରି escalate କରିଦବ, right? So moral hazard will be there। What else? I think this much is enough in general। Then see, एथिरे किछि देखो way forward किछि कुहाय, okay, if you see it is only saying कि pros and cons, तो तुमको pros and cons mu लिखिदेली, but still I will say कि एबे now you have a good opportunity in the conclusion you can write a good way forward। So you write a good way forward in the conclusion in which it should be positively worded, right? Now what can we write which is positively worded, and in this case which is against bullying and which is also taking care of the ethical issues? Can you think of some positively worded concept?
सर जी प्रथमे जो चाइल्ड बुली करथला ताकू काउंसलिंग करबा न बुली करिया पे।
Very good, excellent। in general आमे कहया कि mental health issue को, mental health in school को ताको आमे care करिया, for example psychological intervention, and here you can write a few points, specific point भी तुम लिख परियो, देखो conclusion रे लिखिले भलो marks आसियो। For example if we are talking about therapy, second point we can talk about child helpline, okay, here you can talk about for example telemanas, here you can talk about यार जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन रो जो स्कूल चिल्ड्रन मानको पई साइको
सर
सोशल सपोर्ट पई पोर्टल
मनोदर्पण
हेतला, मनोदर्पण,
मनोदर्पण
करेक्ट, मनोदर्पण, एक्सीलेंट। so these
सर
are the
किरण किरण भी
specific।
अच्छी सर।
किरण भी गोटे अच्छा, हाँ जो एनसीईआरटी बही गोटा लिखा है, if you are having suicidal thoughts, if someone is bullying you, you can call them and you can, there are dedicated people who are going to talk to you, right? So these are in general mental health issue को स्कूल ले माने कंसीडर करिया कि you can take these steps। this is a positively worded way forward। देखो तुम कंक्लूजन लिखियो कि नाइ आमे सब पिला को एमते पनिश कर दवा जो माने खराब करछिन, अरे से सब जिंस तो बॉडी रे हम डिस्कस कर देल। conclusion should be something positive looking and looking forward, then you will get good marks, right?
सर गोटे अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम कर परिबा कि जो माने एक्चुअली देखुचंती कि गोटे पिला आउ जण बुली करछि सेमति रिपोर्ट करिवो
हाँ,
स्कूल अथॉरिटी।
awareness program you can do, peer support group you can say कि peer support group हमें create करिया group रे, sorry school ले, right? we will create awareness program, school awareness program you can write, एथरे भी add कर परियो, okay? any doubts in this case study? anything else you want to ask?
सर
ସେ
जो
ରୋଲ ଅଫ
otherwise
ପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ବି ମେନସନ କରିବା, ପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ଙ୍କର ବି
हाँ,
ରୋଲ ରହିବ।
children are parent, very good। तो एथरे you can also write कि see parents मान को केस रे हम कोन लिख परिया, parents मान को sensitization program हो, right? parents मान को children parent teacher meeting आमे करिया regularly, right? PTM आमे करिया, okay? सेमितिया parents को केस ला कौन करी परिया? तांकर awareness ପାଇଁ तांकर overall understanding ପାଇଁ तांक पिला कौन करूछ? Yes, someone else was asking something.
सर से जो अशोक वाला फास्ट रे कहितले मु ता देर गोटे सॉल्यूशन लिखतली कि से अशोक चाकरी छाड़ी के आ गोटे मीडिया हाउस जॉइन करी के एक्सपोज कर दो एटा ठीक ना बोल
हाँ ही परी श्योर कोड देखला है सॉल्यूशन जानने का है बट some things I inherently find some points funny बट एटा मते बहुत से टिपिकल माने कट थ्रोट कॉर्पोरेट पॉलिसी भला लागु कि जणे
सर
गोटे
मु भी
मोर
सेम
कंपनी
सॉल्यूशन लिखितले आपण जो देथिले होमवर्क
ठीक अछि लेख किछ असुविधा नहीं unless something you understand कि completely wrong किछ अछि ताले किछ असुविधा नहीं
सर एई
you
टाइप रे
can
मैं
write
मूवी रे ही देखछु मैं माने एमिति हुए से अलका कोटे पड़े ता राइवल चैनल को से एक्सपोज करके
हाँ practically तो एटा ही हुए practically ये वाला जिनसे ही हुए but I'm thinking whether it would be good to write in this paper or not but because ଏଇ ଭଳିଆ ଲେଖିଲେ maybe ଏମିତିଆ ଗୋଟେ impression create ହେଇପାରେ କି you are a sort of an opportunistic person ଦେଖ individual social media the channel ତିଆରି କଲେ କଣ ହବ ଠିକ ଅଛି you went out of the channel but you are not going to any rival or anything because you have principles ଠିକ ଅଛି ଏଥିରେ କିଛି ଇସ୍ୟୁ ବି ନାହିଁ ଦେଖ ଓକେ ଆମେ ଏଇ ୱେରେ ଭାବି ପାରିବା କି ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ଚ୍ୟାନେଲଟା ଆମକୁ ଅନଏଥିକାଲ କାମ ହିଁ କରିବାକୁ କହୁଥିଲା ତ ଆମେ ସେଟା ଛାଡିକି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଗଲୁ ତ କିଛି ଇସ୍ୟୁ ନାହିଁ ବିକଜ ଏମିତି ବି we expect କି that channel would have fired it sure you can write but still I don't know initially it felt कि sort of what can we call cheap shot भଳିया मते लागला ठीक ଅଛି you can write certain
सर गोटे ହେଲା से जो सीएमडी को भी एठी परसुएट करी हबो कि जे 10% शेयर पई हमें एते दरिवा दरकार नहीं आउ
okay हाँ you can try to persuade करप्ट बहुत ही जो लोग डायरेक्टली करप्शन करूछि मे भी ताको हमें परसुएट कर परियानी बट इंटरमीडियरीज देयर इज वन पर्सन यू कैन ट्राई टू परसुएट द सीएमडी ऑफ द चैनल यू कैन से कि व्हाई आर यू सो वरीड अबाउट व्हाट्स गोइंग टू हैपन बट हाँ सीएमडी रो एक्चुअली तांकर कोन तांकर सीए निजे भी अनएथिकल न हितले भी इशू विथ सीएमडी वुड बी कि ही वुड बी वरीड अबाउट हिज जॉब ना सीएमडी कैन आल्सो बी फायर्ड सीएमडी विल बी रिप्लेस्ड बाय अनदर सीएमडी so maybe because of that because of repercussions or because of consequences he was worried right hey pare so but yeah you can write that point also you will try to persuade the cmd to let it go or mane hame case ta ko public kar do yes you can write anything else any other doubt okay in general also remember this is actually not your last class probably 21st jan will be your last class so you have time तो आज कत तारीख हला आज हला 5th jan right so 5th through 21st jan in between I will also keep giving you some assignments okay so you have time to actually read revise and if you have any doubts please ask me on 21st jan and on 21st jan also I will try to give you some additional value addition some additional material I will give you so along with that you will also have your doubt clearance and this will be your final class right? So final ethics class so after that your ethics is almost over almost no completely over right now also syllabus is complete okay with this class your ethics syllabus is complete if you please read revise if you have any doubts any concepts any ideas okay anything in any writing related issues we can cover that in general also overall till your exam you have our support no issue ठीक है so I think that's it guys I really enjoyed ethics class specifically and if you have any feedbacks also you can give it to me right now also even after class also okay in general how did you feel did you enjoy the ethics classes
yes sir
okay any issues you faced anything to improve
सर निजर पर्सनालिटी विषय ही जना पड़ी गला माने देखिया गले
right your thinking it would actually, it is sort of a mirror. I feel that this paper is sort of a mirror to the person. Many times what happens is that we are going around, we are not aware of our meta thinking ability or metacognitive abilities.
The blind
We
spot
don't
भी
understand.
କହିପାରିବା ଗୋଟେ।
Yes, lot of blind spots, how we are deficiencies in our thinking. You will not be able to understand unless and until you read this paper. Okay. And till now, I'll tell you, 90% of the people who are also studying this paper, they are also approaching it in the same way as other GS papers. Knowledge based approach. Chalo, let us mug up a lot of things, then we will just vomit it on the paper. So I'm rather trying to create a sort of critical thinking ability, so that even if you don't know what is the exact answer, still you can write a good answer. Right? So in that sense, also it is creating a mirror. It is showing you how you actually think about different issues, not only ethical dilemmas, many of the things which you take for granted कि इटा ही हमें तो जान for sure this is the correct thing, you will also start to question yourself. Okay. So this is a good thing. When we don't know for sure कि what is the right thing, then from this further questioning you try to understand. This will also many times change your attitude towards a lot of things. Right? For example, we were discussing कि initially also my attitude towards this entire GS4 paper was कि what is the point of this paper? ये paper अधिका रखी पिला तो corrupt हो जाए, तो what is the point of writing GS4 paper? But when I went to the depth, I realized कि okay चलो, this is again, this is not a perfect thing. Nothing is perfect. Right? एतरे भी बहुत सारे imperfection ଅଛି, but still there is some utility to this paper also. There is some utility. And if you are also narrowly utilitarian perspective ରୁ ତୁମେ ଭାବୁଛ कि for example ଏଇ paper ଟା ଆମକୁ exam ରେ କେତେ mark score କରିବାକୁ help କରିବ, then also it is your critical thinking ability will help you achieve higher marks. Right? You will get more marks. I'm telling you just very simple example. Till now you will see many of your friends also who are writing some other somewhere else, they are writing, reading and all. Suppose you will see their answers, blindly initially they will start drawing stakeholder, माने ethical case study आसला माने stakeholder चला diagram करिया शुरू ହେଇଗଲା, and later on there would be no link to their answer to this part. You think logically तुम भाबो जने examiner से 50 टा copy देखुथो, से सब copy रे समस्त start करछन stakeholder, and the examiner is unable to understand कि why are people drawing this stakeholder diagram. Is it being asked in the question? If it is being asked, then it is fine. So when you have developed this kind of thinking ability, then you will not blindly follow anything. You will think यार point कौन. Please don't blindly follow anything. Even my advice also, please don't blindly follow. If I'm telling you something, you think कि whether this is correct or not. What is the logic behind this? Then you will be able to score more also, right? So it's a good thing. Whatever we have done in this class, we have tried to develop your critical thinking ability. And even in my endeavor, if I have done any mistakes, please forgive me. And if I can improve anything, you can also suggest me. These are the things I liked, these are the things we didn't like. So I'll also try to improve myself. Okay. So that avenue is always available to you. You can personally also message me, no issues. Okay. ठीक है. So
ये जो माने केस स्टडी में जदि आमे प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन गोटे दिटा एमती उठी देखियो आ आमे एमती भाबिबु, बट ताको वैलिडेट करिया पे आमे को माने काहर एमती हेल्प नबो, माने मॉडल आंसर या केमती?
ना मॉडल आंसर को ब्लाइंडली किसी फॉलो करनी. मॉडल आंसर तो एमती किसी नहीं. But yeah, I would rather say na, what you are looking for, you can even go through some of the toppers copies. What I feel ki some of the toppers copies rather would have more value than any model answer of any coaching institute. We are now assuming the model answer में coaching institute or model answer. So these are very generic sort of stuff. Even today, everything we discussed, you take any of these examples. Suppose हमें एक case study टा को देखिया, सीमा वाला study हो, जो work life balance हो, जितने specific जिनसा हम mention करछी ना, तुम्हें देखियो कि कोई भी मॉडल आंसर एते स्पेसिफिक जिनस मेंशन नहीं. सो खाली पारा वाइज खाली मेंशन नहीं कि दिस इज अगेंस्ट इंटीग्रिटी, दिस इज अगेंस्ट ऑनेस्टी, दिस इज नॉट अगेंस्ट दिस, दिस इज अगेंस्ट दिस एथिक्स. सो वेरी जेनरिक पॉइंट्स की स्पेसिफिक जिनस नहीं. इवन इन दिस इज देखो बुलिंग जिनस रे आमे किछि बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट लास्ट में एमती ऐड करलु, टेलीमानस कथा हम लिखलु, मनोदर्पण कथा हम लिखलु. दीज आर नॉट द थिंग्स यू विल फाइंड इन द अदर आंसर्स. बट मॉडल आंसर देखि तुम निजे डाइवर्ट है कि जदी सेमिति एवरेज आंसर लिखियो, एवरेज मार्क्स पाइबो. So better rather go through some of the toppers copies. You will see कि some toppers have written many specific points. Rather you will learn more from it. Second point is कि this model answer will try to be very perfectionist. Okay. So perfect जिनसे सब लिखे try करिए. तो perfect, remember, perfect is boring. Imperfect, especially when imperfect is imbued with individualism. Now this is interesting even for the examiner. Even for the examiner it is interesting, and the examiner will know कि okay, it is showing the individual, answer of the individuality of the person, and you will get rather better marks. The third and most important part is कि ये जो perfect हवा चक्कर रे ସେମାନେ कौन करे बहुत अधिका word limit को exceed कर दे. Now when you try to blindly copy them, this is not practically possible for you to write it within 8 minutes or 7 minutes, whatever is the case. So case study रे तो अधिका maybe 15 minutes you can take, right? Each case study. But the point is कि you are going to take a lot of time. So don't blindly follow anything. You write your, that is why even we are providing feedback to you also. You work on the feedback and improve your answer. But if you are following the coaching institute रा ये answer अच्छी मु accordingly I will try to align my answer, you will not be, rather that kind of answer will not be very good. Instead follow toppers copies to pick up some ideas. For example, what are the techniques they are using, how they are using value addition. So from this you will get some ideas that will improve your overall answer writing. Any other doubts?
सर मु गोटे फीडबैक दबाक चाहूँगी जे आपण पढ़ेला परे जो फिलोसॉफिकल पर्सन ता थिला सेटा टिके बेसी भल से एप्लीकेबल करि होउछे बे.
Very good, excellent. Philosophical part is usually a difficult part. Technical, this is also a technical part. If you are able to grasp it, then very good. I try to simplify it as much as possible. So that's great. Yes, someone else was saying something. आउजनी के कहूतलो.
सर से जो माने एथिकल इश्यूज कौन इन्वॉल्व अछि जो बीट टारे तो माने आप माने आप लोग गोटे माने देखले कि माने से सेम पॉइंट को माने इश्यू सेम रोचे, कोर इश्यू सेम रोचे, बट अपन तो तीन चारटा पॉइंट रे मतलब वो ब्रेक कर दोछन. बट
हाँ
सेटा
हाँ
एबे स्ट्राइक होनी माने मते त लाउछ रे सेम ही तो गोटे ही तो एथिकल इश्यू अछि, बट तो सेटा
इटा हमें
गोटे
कोन 100% को 110% मैक्सिमाइजेशन करे को सब कहना. ट्राई टू मैक्सिमाइज इट. बेले बेले कोन हबो कि एग्जामिनर विल नॉट इवन रीड. व्हाई बाय द वे आई एम नॉट राइटिंग इन डिटेल. मु काहे कि एटा को केवल हेडिंग देखि छाड़ दोछ. Take it for granted, in 90% of the case the examiner wants, they will just only read the heading, they will not see what you have written here, right? The point is, once they from the heading, if they are able to understand your point, then their work is easier. Semana padhiya hi darkar nahi, then they can move on to the next point. So focus on the heading. So that means heading रे यदि टिके टिके different ହେଇଗଲା term, ତାହେଲେ the person is happy कि चलो ये ଭଲ ଜିନିଷ ବହୁତ ଭଲ point ଲେଖିଛି. But ତମେ ଯଦି ଏତେ ଅଧିକା analysis କରି ତମେ ଭାବିବ ମୁଁ core part ଟା ତ same ଅଛି, ସେଥିରେ ମୁଁ ତିନିଟା heading କାହିଁ କରିବି, then you are not maximizing your knowledge. Okay. So ଏଇଟା କ'ଣ 100% ଥାଇକି ବି ତୁମେ 80% or 90% perform କରିବ. That is the point. କଥା ହଉଛି ଏଇ ଦୁଇଟା ପିଲାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ knowledge ର କିଛି ବି difference ନାହିଁ. Just because of smartness now some person is going to get more marks. So why don't you do the same? Core ଯାହା ବି issue ଯାହା ବି ଅଛି, from that you can make 1 or 2 points. ବହୁତ ଅଧିକା କରିବେନି. ଦେଖ ଗୋଟେ point ରୁ 5ଟା କି 6ଟା point ବି ଯଦି ସେ ଗୋଟେ issue ରୁ ବାହାରିଛି, ତାହେଲେ examiner will know कि ୟା ପାଖରେ ଆଉ କିଛି point ନଥିଲେ ଏ ତାକୁ ବଢେଇ ଚଢେଇକି ଲେଖିଛି. बट या श्योर गोटे दुटा पॉइंट एक्स्ट्रा हमें ऐड करते रहे, नो इश्यूज. तार कोन कि टेक्निकल टर्म हमको बेले बेले टर्म्स जाना थाए ना, तो गोटे जगह गोटे टाइप रो टर्म लिखछ, गोटे जगह आ गोटे टर्म लिखछ, देयर इज नो इशू. टिके टिके स्लाइटली चेंज करके ले लिखियो. ओके, इट्स नॉट शुड नॉट बी एग्जैक्टली द सेम. ओके, टिके टिके चेंज करके लिखि दो. एनीथिंग
सर
एल्स?
ये जो पेपर टा पई जतो थ्योरी लिखा के टाइम देख
सॉरी वॉइस टा क्लियर आसुन कोन कहले.
सर एबे आसला क्लियर.
हां रिलेटिवली क्लियर अछि को.
सर मु कहूଥିଲି ଯେ लिखिला बेले थ्योरी क्वेश्चन गुडा टिके भाबे कि लिखिला बेले टाइम लागो 10 ରୁ 12 मिनिट लागो, तो ସେଇଟା ऑप्टिमाइज
Again, if you are taking time, that means you are trying to be माने गोटे आइडियल आंसर लिखिया को ट्राई कर. आइडियल लिखनी, प्रैक्टिकल लिखो, जहां पॉइंट आसी अल्प टाइम भीतर लिखो. दिस इज वन सॉल्यूशन. सेकंड होची कि इनिशियली ब्रेनस्टॉर्म टे करे को ट्राई करो. जेतेबेले क्वेश्चन टा पढु चाहिँ सेतेबेले टिके टिके स्क्रिबल करे को ट्राई करो क्वेश्चन पेपर ऊपर, and then immediately whatever you have scribbled try to expand it. ताको टिके एक्सपैंड करिक से पॉइंट गुडा लिखियो ट्राई करो. थर्ड पॉइंट इज रिलेटेड टू प्रैक्टिस बहुत सारा प्रैक्टिस करियो. ओके. एंड फोर्थ पॉइंट की जदि टाइम मैनेजमेंट क्रंच रे इशू होची देन इनिशियली रादर टेक लेस टाइम एंड जति टाइम एलोकेट हेची सपोज तुम भावछ कि मो पाखे 8 मिनिट अछि एति लिखिया 8 मिनिट न नै कि भाव कि 6 मिनिट भीतर लिखियो ट्राई कर एंड इनिशियली राइट बैड आंसर्स बट राइट इट. Then later on try to improve this. Instead of trying to write a very good answer in 8 minutes, try to write a bad answer in 6 minutes. This will rather create a more improvement. Let me briefly tell you a very good story. And this is a psychological experiment also. बहुत जगह एटा कराई करके दिखाई छी. दुईटा ग्रुप ऑफ पिला को निया वाला ताको कहा लगी तुमको कोन मटका तैयारी करियो राइट. सो फॉर एग्जांपल एमते सॉइल जो माटी आटी देकी कहा जान कारीगर माने काम करंती. तो गोटे ग्रुप को कहा लगी तुम पाखरे सपोज 1 वीक अछि you have to produce one such pot, ठीक अछि, but it should be perfect. And the other group was said कि किछि सेमती डेडलाइन किछि नहीं 1 वीक चलो 1 वीक पर्यंत तुम पाखे टाइम अछि but you have to so you create as many pots as possible. Okay, as many pots, just create it, keep on doing it. At the end of the day they were judging the groups based on their quality, not on the quantity, remember, because if we are judging on the quantity then this group will obviously win. But this group was told to make one pot only, but it should be of perfect quality. Now you tell me ki which group would have created more better quality pots?
The second group.
Very good. Why?
Practice makes perfect.
Because of practice. Yes. So initially that's why also I keep telling you ki fail early, fail often, fail fair. This is also very important to fail fair. If you are writing all of the questions by looking at the solutions, then you are not failing fairly. Fail fair also means କିଛି ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ क्वेश्चन ଗୋଟେ पार्ट भी न आसी छाड़ी दियो खराब लिखছো ଯଦି खराब लिखो. So bad answer लिखिକି भी then you later on see the solution, then it will lead to some kind of learning. Otherwise if you are writing everything from model answer then there is no learning at all. Actual exam रे mind blank ହେଇଯିବ. So it is better than right now तुमको କିଛି point मिलुनी 8 मिनिट ଭିତରେ बेसी ଭଲ लिखिपारनो, it is fine. 6 मिनिट ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ खराब आंसर लिखिବାକୁ try करो. So from now onwards try to fail as soon as possible and exhaust all kind of failures. Before exam exhaust all kind of failures. Right? So that in actual exam you should not fail. That should be your perspective. Okay. Anything else? Any other doubts?
Sir मते ଗୋଟେ feedback देबार थिला कि माने 9टा क्लास रे माने एथिक्स एते भल से हमें माने पढिले तो मतलब छी जो अलगा कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट आई थिंक 30-40 क्लासेस ने है कि पढ़ा होची तो तो मु ता माने मतलब छी मते किछि माने कोनसी भी ये रु लागुनी कि इनएडेक्वेट हला कि इनसफिशिएंट हला तो आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट इन दिस पेपर राइट नाउ तो थैंक यू.
Very good.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Similarly, मते भी कहया थला जे जोगुडा हमर क्लास असाइनमेंट है सेगुडा जस्ट क्लास रिकॉल करिक नदरे लिखे ट्राई करली स्ट्रक्चर ट्राई करली तो सब कंटेंट थिला लाइक आई डिडंट हैव टू रेफर टू एनी बुक और इंटरनेट और समथिंग तो
Very good.
सेई जोगुडा थैंक यू सर.
से मेंटल ब्लॉक टा चली छि तो जो दिन देखो मेंटल ब्लॉक पळेबो से दिन तुमको केही भी अटकी परिबे. ओके. You are going to be माने one of the best in the exam performance wise. Right? And बहुत अधिका पढ़ी कि मो मत देखो प्रैक्टिस बहुत अधिका करो बट पढ़िबार बहुत सोर्सेस अधिका करियार पॉइंट किछ नै. जेमति हमें कथा होतले जणा लोक यदि 10 आवर्स ऑफिस रे बसुची this person is not actually efficient person. We can understand कि this rather this person is inefficient. जे 5 आवर्स बसी कि तार ऑफिस रे सब काम कर दोजी. You should try to learn कि how this person is doing. 30 आवर्स तुमको 30 आवर्स जणा दे सॉरी 30 टा क्लास रे जदि तुम पढ़ाओ एथिक्स पॉइंट अछि कि दैट मींस कि तुमको इंफॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड बहुत कर दिया and from that you will not be able to write a good answer. It is better कि you maybe take 5 to 10 classes but you understand the core concept, you understand what is the essence of ethics, then you maximize this thing. Now एथरो हमें 100% जहाँ भी हमारे रिटेन करूँ तार हमें यूज करें 110%. This will rather fetch better marks, right? Anyway, thank you for your feedback also. This is also
Thank you, sir.
boosting. Yes, who is this,
Sir,
Chakradhar or who?
Shankar, sir.
Shankar. Okay.
ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ସାର୍ ଆନ୍ସର ଏବେ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ଆସିଲା ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଏବେ ସାର୍ ଆଗରୁ ସବୁ ଜେନେରିକ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ମୁଁ ଲେଖୁଥିଲି ଏବେ ଟିକେ କି ୱାର୍ଡ ଲେଖୁଛି ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ମାନେ ଆପଣ କ୍ଲାସରୁ ଶିଖେଇଲେ କି ଯେ କି ୱାର୍ଡ ଲେଖିଲେ ମାର୍କଟା ଭଲ ହବ ମାନେ ଭଲ ସାଉଣ୍ଡ ବି ହବ ଆଉ ମ୍ୟାକ୍ସିମାଇଜ ବି ହବ ଆଉ ଜେନେରାଲ ଆନ୍ସର ଦେଖିଲେ ସେମିତି ଲାଗୁନି ଯେ ଏଠି ଜଣେ ଅଫିସର ହବ ଯିଏ ସେ ଲେଖିଛି ବୋଲିକି।
Right, very good. No, I have also seen that your answers have improved a lot from the initial part. Many of the papers I don't personally check, but still they go through my supervision also. So I see ki, okay, how different people are doing. So yes, Shankar has also improved a lot. So mostly, most people are improving. Some people usually take more time to implement the suggestions because ସେମାନେ ବି ସେ ଗୋଟେ inertia ରେ ପଡି ଯାଇଥାନ୍ତି। ୟୁଜୁଆଲି ଏମିତି ଅନ୍ୟ ମାନେ କୋଚିଂ ଇନଷ୍ଟିଚ୍ୟୁଟରେ ବି ଯେମିତି ସବୁ ଜେନେରିକ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଦିଆ ହୁଏ କି improve content ତ they don't know what exactly to implement. But now when you are being given specific inputs, now you can specific point you can implement, right? And I'm seeing this ki people are actually ତାଙ୍କର answer writing ବହୁତ huge improvement ହେଇଛି। କିଛି ପିଲାମାନେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ରୁ 2-3ଟା ଆନ୍ସର କପିରେ ହିଁ ହ୍ୟୁଜ ଇମ୍ପ୍ରୁଭମେଣ୍ଟ କରିଦେଲେ ଆଉ କିଛି ପିଲା କଣ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଇମ୍ପ୍ରୁଭ କଲେ ବଟ୍ ଦେ ଆର୍ ଇମ୍ପ୍ରୁଭିଂ ସୋ when you keep writing you will improve, no doubt about it. Perfectionist, again I will tell you one thing, never ever try to be perfectionist. सपोज आज तुम किसी गोटे नुआ टॉपिक उठाइବାକୁ ट्राई कर आज खराब वे रे पढ़िले भी जस्ट स्टार्ट इट, जस्ट गेट स्टार्टेड, ओके देन विल लेटर ऑन यू विल रियलाइज कि ओके ताको तापर बुझियाटा तुम पे इजी हेगला रादर देन तुम भाबी कि मु केबे गोटे गोटे वीकेंड रे बसी आराम से इन डेप्थ गोटे जिंस पढ़ी से टाइम केबे भी आसीबन। सिमिलरली whatever writing practice is going to happen, it is going to happen right now. Don't wait कि मु सब सिलेबस कंप्लीट करके तापर भला आंसर लिखी। And all of you, I think all knowledge, most of you are doing fabulous, okay? Initially जो level थिला एबेरो level ता भितरे surely both improvement ହେଇଛି। So this is also a personal satisfaction for us also, right? So ठीक है, I think
ଗୋଟେ ଲାଷ୍ଟ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ସାର୍।
हाँ हाँ
ସାର୍ ମୋର ପ୍ରତି ଆନ୍ସରରେ ପ୍ରାୟ କମେଣ୍ଟ ଆସୁଛି ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ଟିକେ ସର୍ଟ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କେମିତି କରିବି? ମୁଁ ତ ଭାବୁଛି ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିଷ୍ଟ ଦବାର ଯେ କଣ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ପଚରା ହେଇଛି କଣଟା ଦେଖିବାକୁ ମିଳୁଛି ସେଇଟା କେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଲାଇନରେ ଲେଖିବି ଗୋଟେ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସ।
हाँ गोटे लाइन में लिखियो ट्राई करो समराइज करो स्पेसिफिकली 10 मार्कर रे गोटे लाइन लिखियो ट्राई करो गोटे लाइन बेसी नो गोटे लाइन भी से हिथियो दुईटा एमते सेंटेंस हिथियो गोटे लाइन को भी चारिटा सेंटेंस माने चारिटा लाइन हवार नहीं माने गोटे लाइन माने कोन गोटे सेंटेंस मैक्सिमम हिथियो दुईटा पार्ट हिथियो बिकॉज़ एटा 10 मार्कर आउ 15 मार्कर रे चलो तीनटा ए वाला तीनटा कार पढी परिबो ओके अति बेसी रे चारिटा कार पढी परिबो ताठो अधिका जीवा कथा न बिकॉज़ कते 20% इंट्रो कंक्लूजन मैक्सिमम हो आउ कते आउ मैक्सिमम 60% तुम बॉडी को जो 20% ପାଇଁ କେତେ ବି ଅଧିକା ତୁମେ ମାନେ ଇନପୁଟ ଦବ 20% or 10% भी ହେଇପାରେ so we don't know exactly what is the marking scheme we are ମାନେ this is what a reasonable expectation, okay? So ଏଥିରେ ଆମେ ବହୁତ ବେଶୀ introduction ଲେଖିକି ବି କଣ କରିବା, right? ठीक है so I think that's it guys, by the way don't worry, this is today is not our even the last class of ethics also, so there will be one more class, so in that also you can further we'll have further doubt clearance, right? ठीक है so that's it friends, take care and we will meet again.